ask you, are we saying that our grandparents were the devils?
Man, come on now.
Because I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, you from the lodge, boy? Your grandmama prayers was with you while you did that 20 years, that 18 years in prison. She probably been gone 30 years." This is what they don't want you to know. This is the Islamism, not nothing over in Saudi Arabia. It comes from our ancient forefathers.
Here.
Y'all don't even understand what a Mason is, and y'all make jokes about it. Go look at the struggle for us. And I'm not a Mason. I don't belong to any lodge. But we got to give truth where truth is at.
Man,
they did a lot of good. We're talking about our Masons, okay? We're not talking about those pale ones. We're not talking about Albert Pike and those who follow Albert Pike. We're talking about our brothers and sisters, okay? Go research and see the work that they put in. Stop the cat and quit trying to blame anyone. Noble Drew Ali teaches us to blame yourself. We've been here before. Blame your great-great-great-great-grandma, your great-great-great-great-grandfather. You can't blame nobody else. Put the blame on self. But what you gonna do about it? A lot of people talking on this internet and they still Negro, color, black, etc. You're considered as chattel property. That means they can come in your house and do what they want with you and your children because you're all wards of the state.
Facts.
I'm not capping on anyone. We're not wards of the state under Noble Drew Ali.
Shout out to
when COVID came around, nothing stopped for us, business-wise or moving.
Islam. Yeah, I mean, when COVID was around, we was traveling.
That's right.
When they were saying everybody had to stop and everything, we was traveling.
We was all up in Georgia and everywhere. That's right. We was even letting them know. Oh man, you could create a letter. Huh? What? We was letting everyone know. That's why we on all these different channels to let you know something. But see, you've been programmed by the DEA, the FBI, the CIA. Don't listen to them. Hate them. Run them away. Call them dirty. Call them agents. Even say you'll kill them. See if they run. Man, we don't run from those things. We fear not what we hear or see, but we sacrifice our life to the utmost to get this truth out to our people. This is real. This ain't no joke. Brothers coming home from the penitentiary, ready to teach this, ready to give their life, and we don't get paid for this.
That's the crazy part.
Well, we do get paid by seeing goodness on the earth, right? Instead of hell. So we get paid. Our minds get a little peace. You see?
That's right.
So with that, I yield.
Gratitude. Shout out to brother Sheikh Jamal Bain. He said, "Mine's was I love my granny." Shout out to Granny. Travel Alchemist said, "My daddy and my uncles were in the lodge. Aunts too. This was normal in that era of time."
That's right. It was a way to communicate, brothers and sisters, to make moves for us, dummies. Excuse me, y'all. But all that I spoke to, they said, man, they was making moves for the future. We represent that future. It wasn't that they can be close to some Europeans. They were making moves.
I don't think they really understand.
It takes steps, stages, and degrees, brothers and sisters. Nothing would happen overnight. They didn't get this overnight, and we won't get it back overnight. Steps, stages, and degrees. It's long.
It's long. I don't think a lot of us understand that, the lodges is for the most part is a way that many of us would unionize, because after the civil what they call the Civil War, right, everyone became its own union. And a lot of times we wasn't accepted in certain unions. So a lodge was a way that you could unionize and be a part to help your community and help build it up. But a lot of people don't understand that. They don't get that. That's why I'm not downing anything that my grandparents did, their parents did to help build up our community. My grandparents were staples in in our communities. So I'm not going to downplay, I'm not going to disrespect my ancestors just because somebody's small minute understanding of what we did and how we did it back in the day. Just because they was a part of that doesn't mean that they were sellouts and they were selling anybody out. A lot of that stuff didn't come until much of that, a lot of it, for the most part, did not come up until really the generation started to go to these schools and get educated. So that really is the downfall, the public education, us being put into the system of teaching us lies about who we are. I mean, look at it today. As soon as you say, "Oh, I'm not black," blackity black, black, you're downcast. You hate yourself. Something is wrong with your African mind, sister, brother. Just all types of weirdness. Shout out, brother Jose L.
Islam, Empress. If I can get in where I fit in, Islam. Teaching a degree. Now, with these organizations, right, and you spoke on them before as brother and sister organizations. And Amor had asked, well, what makes them a brother sister organization? And you see the signs and symbols for the conscious mind. Now, if you was more demonstrating the degrees in symbology that the Prophet Noble Ali gave you, there's a few of those degrees. The most public one is the hand clasp of unity. So we could, in love, true peace, freedom, and justice, if we was ever at a time where we needed assistance with one of these organizations, we could enforce the hand clasp of unity.
That's right.
I only know from experience, one of these organizations, they will help you if they see that you are moving in love, true peace, freedom, and justice. They'll do everything that they can to help you stand on your square. This happened to me personally. They'll help you stand on your square if they see that you're moving. And they'll challenge the European force. They'll challenge them. Oh, what you mean? Well, it's verifiable. What are you saying about him? So I just wanted to add that because it was a real experience. Yeah, they not all. It's not all evil. That's just what they teach us. That's the information that they teach us. The Jewish spookism. The Jews are a suspicious group of people. That's what your Circle 7 Quran says. Islam, are you?
Islam. A lot of that comes from not wanting you to really know about, organizations and associations, and why not? Why wouldn't you want to know? If you got an organization or association within your community that's going to make overall decisions for your local community, you should know what they're doing. You should know their aim, their focus, and their goals, because it's going to affect you. So when we get into, stay away from them, they this and they that. No. You need to be going and finding out. You need to be going and finding out what's going on. What you got going on? What's this about? And that's really, that really comes from being active. A lot of people are only active on the internet. So they create these echo chambers.
Teach on this, sis.
And through the echo chambers is like I said, man, I said before, it's scary. It's like watching a group think experiment. I just be like, wow, this is weird. It's crazy to me. Like, you can't ask anything, you can't say anything, you can't have any opposing thought. I just be like, wow, that ain't that ain't real life. That is not real life. Gratitude, brother. Thank you for sharing that. Let's get to some of this Moorish history about the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. Right? It says the Moorish Holy Temple of Science was founded in Newark, New Jersey in 1913 as the Canaanite Temple by Timothy Drew, who was born in North Carolina in 1886. He later assumed the title Noble Drew Ali and established the first Moorish Holy Temple in Chicago in 1925, just 4 years prior to his death. Following Noble Drew Ali's death, the group experienced several schisms, including one led by Wallace Farad Muhammad, who subsequently formed the Nation of Islam. The Moorish Holy Temple teaches that African Americans are the descendants of the Moors, Moabites, and thus originally were Islamic. Members therefore reject categorization, black, colored, or Negro as a prejudicial misidentification of their actual heritage. They indicate their Moorish origins by adding suffixes el or bay to their last names. This is a problem. This is a really, really bad problem. And the problem is, this is so filled with lies and misinformation. The Moorish Holy Temple of Science was not founded by Prophet Noble Drew Ali, but known as the Canaanite Temple. This is not real. And it's the stuff that these folks really be teaching. This is the stuff that folks really be out here teaching. There is no articles of incorporation, whether it be civic, whether it be association, nothing showing that Noble Drew Ali or Timothy Drew created the Moorish Holy Temple of Science and founded it as the Canaanite Temple. But you got Moors that's been teaching this for years. Misteaching for years. When did and they don't have any proof of any of this. And they've been teaching this and been regurgitating it for years. The Moorish Holy Temple of Science is not the same thing as the Canaanite Temple. It never was. Never. Let's go to some more, clean up some more of this garbage.
Islam.
Islam.
And if you look at the heading of that picture that you got posted, even the signs and symbols that I was just speaking of is not in the proper constitutional order of the Moorish Science Temple of America. We see that star and crescent moon, we see that hand clasp, and then we see the logos. That is not demonstrated in the constitutional fold of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I yield.
Islam. You know, we just gotta do better. It's time to clean this garbage up. Because I've been seeing Moors that's been in this way longer than me, way older than me, that's been teaching this garbage. You know, another thing, this Sahid Jamal al-Din al-Afghani. Abdin Bey Effendi. It says he was a pan-Islamist. Prophet Noble Drew Ali wasn't no pan-Islamist. He didn't teach no pan-Islamism. This is this Wahhabism. This is a part of that program.
Islam, Grand Governor.
Islam. And I like to add, because she could.
Hold on. Brother Pennington Bay was about to say something, didn't you, Neil Bay?
Yeah. See, you know, it's a reason for all this. Like, it's not strange. The Quran says that a superstitious people are the Jews. And that was the Prophet Noble Drew Ali telling us to never adopt the customs and the practices of a superstitious people. But the Moors, again, violating the Prophet's orders, then adopted the customs of the superstitious people. Now they want to attribute everything they find that they don't know what they looking at, that they can't figure out what it is, to the Moors Science Temple of America. Every picture they see, if it even look like it might possibly pass for the Drew, they call it the Drew. Every little thing they pick up, if it even look like it might pass for Moor science, they call it Moor science. You know, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, earlier y'all was talking about the Masons. And the Prophet Noble Drew Ali said that he came to snatch the cover off all secret organizations. Those degrees were steps that was necessary to be taken before the coming of the Moor Science Temple of America. So for everybody that want to say, you know what our grandparents did to make so that they can try to, get back what was taken from them, they don't understand the principles of learning. Like you and I and every other, student, that's what we do in the process of learning. We just start, we gotta if we gotta go play in the dirt, or if we gotta dig in the garbage can for the information until we actually find it, that's what we do. So when they was talking about the Canaanite temple, I'm gonna tell y'all something that the elders told me years ago, and these come from ones who walked with the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. They said that temple that they call the Canaanite Temple of America was only called the Canaanite Temple of America because when the Moors bought the building, the sign was already on the building, the Canaanite Temple of America. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali never started a movement called the Canaanite Temple of America. He never started that movement. It just so happened that the building that they bought, that was a sign that was on the building when they bought it. So it be just these small things, like you said, that people have no proof of, but to stand on, and then, go to bat and want to debate with people all on the internet and stuff about this garbage, when all they got to do is just study the Prophet, study his lessons. He say, my sheep know the sound of my voice. A stranger will not follow. We know what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali would have said and would have done because of his footsteps. He left it. He didn't hide his hands. He showed it all to us. So, for me, it's always been about the principles of learning. That's why I call myself the master student. And I would change my mind in the blink of an eye. As soon as truth shows itself. If my initial thought was false, then I'm gonna adopt truth over falsehood all day long. That's what a student does. So, but we got all these master teachers.
Islam, that's right.
That's what I want.
That's right. Even the Canaanite temple.
Oh yeah, hold up, partner body. I had this weird joker Swindle. What's that joker name? Swindle.
Oh, we don't even. Those are pale. That's the pale skin European. They don't even get our energy.
Hoodwink the swindler. You should have parked over there. Hoodwink over there. The swindler. Want to quit master student? Absolutely. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali is the Professor Drew, and we are his master students.
Islam.
So anybody want to challenge that? Then
Yeah, Mo, that's a pale skin European. They don't even get our energy like that, for real.
Yeah, freaking weird joker.
It's a lot of them that admire us, so they be wanting to get, that energy so they can live a little bit longer. We call them energy vampires. Gratitude, Neil Bay.
Islam. Yeah, we cooking today. As you were speaking about Wahhabism, I wanted to share because we got
Good
a
link to
lot of
Slim.
brothers, and I
Give
love
you a
y'all.
name like that.
All right, but y'all need to understand: if your Islam does not come from Noble Drew Ali, not or Sufism, 9 out of 10, most of what you're caught into is not Islam. It's called Wahhabism. It came 700 years after Prophet Muhammad. Okay? Be careful. Use your authority, the Holy Quran. And if you can't science it up with that, it's not the Al-Haq, which is the truth. And the reason I say that, because they make us, the Moorish American Muslims, as disbelievers, or worse than a disbeliever, as a kufr, as a kafir. Okay? And they say that we commit shirk of the 3rd degree because we take Noble Drew Ali as a prophet. This is Wahhabism. These are the same people who were helping kill witches throughout the world. Go back and do your research. So that means, like my great-grandma, Clara Brown, was a witch here. She used to heal the people. They wanted her dead. Okay? And they hid their hand through the sword. So be careful. Noble Drew Ali was never lining us up with those brothers and sisters in Saudi Arabia. He told us Chicago is our Mecca. Do your homework on Chicago, the history of our people in Chicago. Wahhabi is even outside of Islam now, if you guys don't know. Wahhabism can be found in Judaism. You can Google this. And Christianity. Hold on, what? How you get a sect of Islam in the bed with Christians?
Man,
right? And Jews?
Teach on it,
man. That's that one world order to tell us that we are nothings. We're the scums of the earth, right? And they take all the blessings and resources from us while they keep us dizzled and dazzled with all these, what you call it, politic warfare that we're going through. What's the term that you use, brother Penitent Bay?
Political witchcraft, bro.
There
Political
it is.
Witchcraft.
Those words are casting spells.
They casting spells.
They've been doing it, right. And this is what I'm sharing with my brothers in the aboriginal community, indigenous community, Hebrew community. They've been casting spells on us. They actually have people that they pay, psychics and things that they pay to keep us in the mumbo jumbo. Y'all don't know this? The Nation Islam, the Moors, anything that they think is woke, they're using our ancient forefathers' science to keep us asleep, divided. Because remember, the prophet said, where there is unity, there is strength. Together we stand, divided we fall. With that, I say Islam. Let's do better.
Islam.
Y'all know I go to school for psychology, and one of the things that my Professor Myers, he lectured on the old experiments that they did, claiming that nowadays they can't do these experiments, but they did them, and they used the research and the findings from this old experiments, cutting people's brains open and hypnotizing individuals and all of these type of things, and nowadays if anybody was to think that they're not exercising these same sciences now subliminally, that's part of what we studying right now is subliminal messaging. I mean, and if they teaching it in the introduction to psychology, I'm in psychology 110. This is the introduction to psychology. So I can only imagine, what I'm going to be learning when I start to get into my graduate studies and all of that type of thing. But they not doing it for no reason. See, it's political witchcraft, real talk, and it's happening inside of the Moor Science Temple of America. You got Moors in the temple right now who are demonstrating political witchcraft, and they think that they actually doing their own work that from their own mind, not knowing that somebody got them working for them. And then you got the individuals who are outright working for the enemy, And anytime they start coming with this speculation inside of the Moor Science Temple, it never started like that. It never started like that. So how did it get like that? It's not accidental. One of the things that we talk plain as day is that truth is but one. Truth don't change. It don't pass away. Now, all of a sudden, we got all of these fork-tongued Moors in the Moor Science Temple of America. And where did they come from? Where did they come from? Because the Prophet Noble Drew Ali wasn't raising them like this. So where did they come from? So yeah, he warned us about those who accept their teaching. So anytime one start coming demonstrating, I got this out of this and this out of that, hold up now, we study everything, but we recognize the truth. Know the truth. Don't be propagating this demonstration and you don't even know where you got it from. You ain't did the research on it. We scientists. Theories are good, opinions are better. But the idea is to go out and discover if whether or not your opinion or your theory is truth, especially before you start putting it on these platforms, because you got Moors listening and you got individuals listening. They think that their conditions can be better. They looking for something good. They can change their condition. And then you giving them something that ain't going to do nothing but set them back 10, 20, 15 years. 25, 30 years, with this bad information, so. Yeah, see, because this, like you said, man, stop the cap. This is not Noble Drew Ali. It ain't even just about the pictures, because he say imitate out the prophet. It's about the teaching. It's about the lessons. This falsehood that wants to be demonstrating all around here. All these so-called master teachers. Like, that's offensive. Master teacher. You serious? Goodness gracious.
That's facts. And I want everybody to know I'm not coming at anyone in particular.
It's governors. I missed it. Who is this? Who is this guy on this picture right
here? This is Saeed Jamal.
Okay.
This is Serapis Bey, brother Serapis Bey.
Who?
Serapis Bey. This is
Serapis Bey. What's up with him?
A lot of so-called adept masters.
This is what they teach.
They've been teaching his degrees, mixed with Pan-African and Prince Hall degrees. Now they are adept their sheep. Now this is what they have in their chambers.
And this is what they've been teaching, talking about. This is the adept lessons. Y'all gotta stop.
Yes.
Y'all the problem.
Correct.
Serapis Bey. This is Serapis Bey.
Can we call him a true small hat?
And I don't care what type of hat he wear.
That's a true small hat. If we're gonna call it a small hat, Islam. Go ahead.
I don't care what hat he wear. I'm gonna just say
real spill.
This is not this. He don't got nothing to do. Ever had anything to do with the Moorish Science Temple of America or the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. I'm gonna keep it a buck. This never had anything to do with us.
Come on, wake us up.
Nothing to do with us. So when we get into it, right? It says that, it says that he was a master adept, a Sufi scholar and teacher, a Muslim politician, and a journalist. He founded a Masonic lodge, the Eastern Star.
Y'all hear that?
Yeah. In Egypt, during the mid-1800s, Madame Blavatsky met and was taught by Jamal, who she refers to as Serapis Bey, one of the quote-unquote secret chiefs or ascended masters, or others were Mariah, Pascal Beverly Randolph, Tuiti Bey, Kut Homi, and Hilarion, all synonyms who purportedly belonged to the Asiatic Brethren, or the Hermetic Brotherhood of Luxor, who were aiding humanity to evolve into a race of supermen. This had nothing to do with Prophet Noble Drew Ali or Moorish American Muslims who are American, the Americans, true Americans, and Moorish Americans. Like this ain't never had nothing to do with us. And I'm not even coming for, this is from draleembay.com website. I'm not even coming for him. I'm coming for the information.
Islam. And you know something that's sad about all of that, Sheikh, is Governor? The fact that we having this discussion and we have to have it because it's needed. And it really takes away from the potential greatness that man possessed in what he did do. But the fact that one's trying to make him, over the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's teachers and those ones who really got the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's teachers and who it was passed down through, that's where it gets sad. And you know what I liken that to? I liken that to the individuals that try to say that LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan. You're taking away from the greatness of LeBron James because now he's overrated. So now when you bring this guy, whoever this guy is, I never heard of him until today, but when you bring this guy into the fold and then he's a master adept in his school of thought, okay, fine. He initiated those degrees to those people who was under him. Okay, fine. But now when you go from the Moorish Science Temple of America to go get what he got put down, what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali left, bring that into the temple, and now it's a problem with that. There's a problem. I was having a discussion with the Sheikh Etwazil years ago about something like this, and he was telling me about Moors that was going, out to the Masonic lodges to get degrees and come back to the chamber with those degrees. And I was saying to myself, for what? What was they going out there? We teach Masonry in the Moorish Science Temple of America. We teach that. Those of us who know how to teach that, we teach it though. We teach carpentry in the Moorish Science Temple of America. See, once get the institution confused with the actual lessons. The institution, they become enthused with the institution of Masonry. And then they never really learn Masonry in the first place. That's just like ones who study the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America never learn carpentry because they so enthused by the sound of the instruction, they don't embody it. They don't learn to embody it. So you done got this guy who was probably great in his day, who probably did a whole lot of great things for people in his day, and now he's overrated because you comparing him to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and you can't do that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Even when we read a little bit further, it says that the two missionaries had come to the United States to propagate the doctrine of ancestral and cultural pride under the banner of Pan-Islam, which is meant to ensure, and see, we gotta be careful what we be connecting ourselves to. When you start talking about Pan-Islam, you talking about participating and trying to bring forth a jihad. You start talking about,
That's
you start
right.
these type of words and this type of vernacular.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. You're an extremist. It ain't got nothing to do for Islam to be about peace.
Can I get in there with you a little bit?
Before you get there, it has turned into, in this modern day, it has turned into one of the most bloodiest faiths on the earth. It is ridiculous how man has literally defiled peace on earth. Yo, Neil Bay, go ahead. You got
peace. I just wanted to share with the crowd, the brothers and sisters, at a very young age, my father allowed me to practice with different brothers and sisters from Islamic organizations that use the title Islamism. Look, y'all, this is before 911. At the age of 12, 13, guess what they was telling me to do? Shave your beard. By the time I was 14, 15, I knew how to make pipe bombs. Okay? Allah be my witness. I had to share this with Brother D. Barnesville. Said, be careful, man, because these ones hide Islam behind their back and give you a couple of little verses from the Quran and make you they sin off dummy. Okay? I bear witness. I've been through it. Oh, yes, you do the Adhan because you have the voice of Bilal, not knowing that they being racist. Well, everybody said, well, Bilal was the first person to call the Adhan. Yeah.
He was the only one that knew how to do it.
Correct. Right. But when they try to assign it to you, they're saying, I only see you as a slave. You go do prayer, you call the prayer, and I lead prayer. I switched it on them. I said, I'm not a lead the prayer. You call the Adhan.
You know, some Greg, you always teaching that degree when you demonstrate that coming to success.
And I don't know that the Moors is picking it up. So God forbids a brother from America leading the prayer, but it's okay for this brother from the East to come over here and act like he's giving me true Islam, give me a cut of Islam, and then his version of Islam and his doctrine of Islam, and then try to send me on off. Be careful, because they still out here. And guess what? They give you big money. They give out thousands of dollars. They will put you in nice homes, nice cars. Oh, this one's going to be coming from Europe, and this one's going to be coming from New York, and they're going to come to your area. No. When I say I've been international, national, I've been doing this for a long time. I know all their tricks. 1940s, they were trying to tie the Moors in with who? Japanese. Be careful of these extreme groups. They still exist, and they don't care for you or I. They'll misuse you. They'll salam you to death. Alhamdulillah you to death. But at the same time, they don't see you or I like they see their brothers and sisters over there. Be careful. Peace.
So it says, which is meant to ensure that the divine teaching of the ancestors are not forgotten among the Moors in America or Mexico. See, this is what I be having a problem with. You adding and mixing.
Jeez.
You adding and mixing. This is how Serapis Bey creeped in to the Moorish Science Temple of America, because you got those who've been teaching this for so long. So people really take this as being true. People take this as being art, and it ain't. It is said, now listen, it is said the Moorish National Divine Movement was founded on the teachings of Sufism by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I'm going to stop right there, because Prophet Noble Drew Ali didn't teach Sufism. Prophet Noble Drew Ali taught us Islam.
That's right.
Our religion is Islamism, because are in it's a lifestyle. It's something that we do every single day. We do not separate church and state.
Islam.
So when you put all of this, let's look at what Sufism is. And I ain't got nothing wrong. I don't see nothing wrong with Sufism. But again, this is the Prophet Noble Drew Ali didn't teach us Sufism. The closest thing that when you're talking about, what is the Moorish science and the teachings, the closest thing that you can think of when you want to try to compare in the world would be Sufism. But that's not what Prophet Noble Drew Ali taught us. He didn't teach us Sufism. Islamism is the old time religion. If he wanted to teach us Sufism, he would have taught us Sufism. Period.
Wow.
So Sufism, mystical movement within Islam that seeks to find divine love and knowledge through direct personal experience of God, and consists of a variety of mystical paths that are designed to ascertain the nature of mankind and God, and to facilitate the experience of divine love and wisdom in the world. Sufism arose as an organized movement after the death of Muhammad, 632 CE, among different groups who found Orthodox Islam to be spiritually stifling. The practices of contemporary Sufi orders and suborders vary, but most include the recitation of the name of God or of certain phrases from the Quran as a way to loosen the bonds of the lower self, enabling the soul to experience the higher reality toward which it naturally aspires. Though Sufi practitioners have often been at odds with the mainstream of Islamic theology and law, the importance of Sufism in the history of Islam is incalculable. Sufi literature, especially love poetry, represents a golden age in Arabic, Persian, Turkish, and Urdu languages. Right? See also the Ahmadiyya. We're going to get into the Ahmadiyya. Right? Because that's a part of them trying to tie Prophet Noble Drew Ali into that movement. And this is why we got to be careful. Like I said, it's nothing wrong with Sufism. For the most part, some of the stuff I'd be like, nah, I'm good. But for the most part, Sufism is just another form of you having that time with you and your Lord. That's all it is. Helping to build up that character. And you need that in life. You need to have those morals and standards. But again, it's not what Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought.
It's fine.
So here it is. You got Saeed, aka Serapis Bey, right? And here's one of his students, Blavatsky. Now, I get tired of everybody always talking about Blavatsky.
Go in.
Oh, you know that pale skin European. Y'all gonna stop. Y'all know this lady had cut on her. You can look at her with admixture. Stop it.
That's right.
Some of y'all got aunties and
look just like her, smoking a cigarette, looking out the window. That's right.
Like her. Stop playing. Y'all be so weird all the time.
There was an old lady who used to stay in the Lake Hikes, and we knew about her name of Miss Mary. Looked just like her. Used to sit out. She used to be in her window, and they used to call her old white lady, right? I'm saying, she ain't no European staying out here. She said, no, I got cut on me. I got cut on me. Come on now. Y'all know better.
Yeah, they know better. Here's the other one.
But anything to discredit the Moorish Science Temple of America, anything to discredit Noble Drew Ali, anything to discredit the truth. We still like being slaves, coons, animals, chattel property. Seriously, I yield.
Islam. Then we have this one. Eliza Turner Equipment, Pure-Blooded Wash It All Tunica, John A. Drew Equipment, Full-Blooded Cherokee. Now, then right here, look, it says Jamal right? So who is Saeed, taught the family of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Y'all see how this stuff be coming in? When did Saeed teach the Prophet of the family of Noble Drew Ali? When? Where's the proof?
Come on. Great question. Great.
Where's the proof? We gotta stop this nonsense. This stuff is next level insanity. That's crazy. You ain't got no proof whatsoever that this man taught Prophet Noble Drew Ali's family. Then this one. This one is, let's see. The family of Timothy Drew were members of the Moorish Zionist Temple. Y'all, come on. Y'all really just be making stuff as it comes up. It's this stuff is crazy, y'all. This is absolute craziness. And this is why I always say over here, source up or don't say nothing at all. I'm not letting you get it off. I'm not going to let you just, well, you know, this is what. No, we need proof. We need evidence. That's
right.
Problem.
Vanguard. That's right.
There's no sources. There's no proof. There's no evidence. It's just, well, you know what? They was in Harlem during the same time as Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and they were the Moorish Zionist Temple of the Moorish Jews.
Had nothing to do with the Moorish science at all.
So we know that Prophet Noble Drew Ali was with him. Where's your proof? Just because there was the Moorish Zionists, you know how many? I mean, that's just like your last name Jackson. And then you go to school one day and you meet another Jackson.
Uh-oh. It can't be but one Jackson. What you talking about? It's only one Brown. It's only one Jackson. It's only one Benjamin Franklin family. It's all one. What are you saying, Sister Cake Love Real?
Man, these people be weird with this stuff. And really be teaching it like with conviction. With the chest sticking out. With bass in the voice. With all the theatrics. It's crazy. With no proof. Just, well, look at them. They're the Moorish Zionist Temple of the Moorish Jews. Noble Drew Ali was the Moorish Science Temple or the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. It was in Harlem. He was in Newark. So he had to have been none of them.
Yep.
He had to learn from them. That's what they say. Says, which was formed in 1889. Some books date the formation in 1899. That's 10 years different. By Rabbi Leon Richelieu. The congregation of the Moorish Zionist Temple of the Moorish Jews in Harlem, circa 1929, Rabbi Israel ben Newman and President Mordecai Herman wearing the shawl. Rabbi Mordecai Herman was
Stop. Empress, you know what I just picked up? What year did you say?
1929.
You know what I just picked up?
What's that?
When did Noble Drew Ali supposedly veil the form from us?
1929.
Y'all hear that? 1929. Okay, Islam.
And he wasn't even in Harlem. This is picture from 1929 in Harlem. It just be the weirdest, craziest stuff.
You know what I got out of?
What's that?
I'm picking up. They carried on what Noble Drew Ali stopped at to a degree. And if I'm wrong, I mean, signs and symbols for the conscious mind. Because I thought that he was still in the flesh when they first organized. You know, I heard a couple different stories. But now what I'm picking up as you're reading this, man, they continued the work of Noble Drew Ali. Remember, the Moors used to sing songs about us being the original Israelites.
The tribe of Ishmael.
Uh-oh. Yeah. So I see them saying, look, we're going to be about the same work that Noble Drew Ali was setting up, because it's our ancient forefathers' divine religious creed. I yield.
Islam. And it also says that Herman was a member of Marcus Garvey's Universal Negro Improvement Association. In 1921, Mordecai Herman reformed the Moorish Zionist Temple, aka Cushman Congregation in Harlem, New York, with affiliate branches in Newark, New Jersey, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Rabbi Arnold Hosea Ford later joined Rabbi Samuel Valentine and Rabbi Mordecai Herman. Rabbi Ford and Rabbi Samuel Valentine split in 1924. Rabbi Ford started the Beth B'nai Abraham. Ford included elements of Islam in his practice, writing prayers to Allah and observing Ramadan. His movement was Moorish Israelite, Islamic, free Masonic in nature. Now, do y'all understand that there is the seal of the prophet that brings and allows for Islam and Judaism to come and Christianity to all come together without any harm? So if this brother was bringing them all together, he was following the seal of the prophet under the charter. See, a lot of people be talking about, Islam this and Islam that, but they don't even know, and they'll even start going into Sharia law. But what was everybody following prior to Sharia law? What was going on prior to? Who was who was working and doing and following the ways of our ancestors prior to? Right? It was the pack of the believers, aka being under the charter. Islam. So now then they have Rabbi Arnold Hosea Ford. Let's get into him. All right, so Rabbi Arnold Hosea Ford was a black nationalist who became the musical director. Listen to this now, because they swear down that this brother in Noble Drew Ali is it's like Noble Drew Ali was came under these people and he learned from them. It says that he became the musical director of the Universal Negro Improvement Association in 1917. He was a member in the Scottish Rite Masons, where he served as master of the Minimum Lodge. Ford and Benjamin E. Burrell composed a song called Ethiopia. Now, I'm gonna stop right there real quick because I want somebody to come and tell me what do we know to be true in our lessons about Ethiopia? Islam? Brother Jose L. Can you touch on that a little bit? The division, right? It means the divide, the separation. Like, we come under unity. So anything that is teaching Ethiopia, the demarcation line, if it's bringing in Ethiopia, Prophet Noble Drew Ali ain't have nothing to do with that. It says, which speaks of a Halcyon past before slavery and stresses pride and African heritage. Come on, y'all. We know good and well this ain't got nothing to do with no more science. And this was, whether it was before or after the Moorish Holy Temple science of the world, we've been coming out with we ain't Africans. We're not blacks. We're not Negroes. We're not Ethiopians. It's literally in our divine constitution and bylaws. It says two themes that were becoming immensely popular. It was becoming popular. It was becoming. So Ethiopia and being of African heritage was becoming popular in the late 19 teens going into the early 1920s. It was becoming popular. It says Ford was thus prominently situated among those Muslim and Christian clergy, including George Alexander Maguire, chaplain general of the UNIA, who were each trying to influence the religious direction of the organization. Ford and E.L. Gaines wrote the Handbook of Rules and Regulations for the paramilitary African Legion, which was modeled after the Zionist Jewish Legion, and developed guidelines for the Black Cross nurses who served on committees, spoke at rallies, and was elected one of the delegates representing the 35,000 members of the New York chapter at the first International Convention of Negro Peoples of the World, held in 1920 at Madison Square Garden. Rabbi Ford was expelled from the UNIA, aka Garvey movement, as he was head of the music and band marches. He was removed in 1923 due to mismanagement. It's possible that Drew, listen now, it is possible that Drew Ali had in fact borrowed genealogical narrative from Ford. Again, this don't have nothing to do with Prophet Noble Drew Ali. This is just a guesstimate. Someone guessing that this could be a possibility. It says, as it is alleged that Rabbi Ford's Back to Ethiopia movement is what Prophet Noble Drew Ali referenced in the Moorish Questionnaire Key 89 and also in the Moorish Divine Constitution and Bylaws Act 6, in the Moorish Holy Quran Circle 7, Chapter 47, verses 1 through 4. No. Again, that's another guessing, a guesstimate. Just because Prophet, you know how many back to Africa movements was during that time? Again, it says, let's go back to it real quick. It says, he was a member of the Scottish Rite Masons, where he served as master of the Minman Lodge. Ford Benjamin E. Burrell composed a song called Ethiopia, which speaks of a Halcyon past before slavery and stresses pride in African heritage. Two themes that were becoming immensely popular. Do you understand how many organizations, associations, and corporations that was promoting back to Africa and Ethiopia at this time? Prophet Noble Drew Ali was not just talking about Ford. It says Rabbi Ford is also quoted in the Moorish literature pamphlet in the speech Industrious Acts of the Muslims. Some say it's him. Some say it's him. He's also quoted, and some say it's him. While others say it's David Ford Ill. You see, they just be making it up as they go. This ain't nothing other than, well, you know, I think, well, you know, I heard. Oh, did you hear? Oh, yeah, because, you know, that's what I believe. Just making it up. That's the problem. And nobody is checking any of this. I want to go down some more. I'm going to keep going down. Then you got Chief Rabbi Wentworth, because they swear Chief Rabbi Wentworth was Prophet Noble Drew Ali's teacher. I mean, I didn't heard this so much. It's crazy. It says Chief Rabbi Wentworth, Arthur Matthew, Jose ben Moshe ben Yehuda, also given as Moshe ben David, was leader of the Moorish Zionist Temple of the Moorish Jews of Harlem. Matthew created a Masonic lodge called the Royal Order of Ethiopian Hebrews, the Sons and Daughters of Culture. I'm going to stop right there. I want to highlight this. Masonic lodge. It says he created a Masonic lodge. He created a Masonic lodge. That means that he did not get a charter. Say it again. That means he did not get a charter. He didn't get no charter. He wasn't under no order. He created his own. Exactly, Sheikh Jamal Bey, conspiracy theorists. And that's what we dealing with, a bunch of conspiracy theorists. And the Moors be teaching this stuff. Instead of keeping it up. It says Matthew created a Masonic lodge called the Royal Order of Ethiopian Hebrews, the Sons and Daughters of Culture. This man ain't getting no charter. He ain't getting no charter from the Prince Hall. I ain't even getting to that yet. And he ain't getting no charter from no other Masonic order. That's like you going out and creating your own business. Like, people be crazy. This stuff is crazy. You know how many people then tied this man into being a part of small hats and wanting to turn our people into being black and all this other types of crazy stuff. The stuff they put on this man. This man ain't got no charter from no Masonic lodge. He did his own thing. This don't make this right here does not make logical sense at all. Because people swear down they have taught that Prophet Noble Drew Ali was one of his students and he learned directly under him and he and them got into it. He left and went and started the Moorish Holy Temples, the Old Canaanite Temple first, then the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, and then Moorish Science Temple of America. This is what they've been teaching. And I ain't get it. I ain't even get into the Prophet and the Princes yet. Oh, that right there. When your man who wrote the book came back and said, well, everything that I come up with is a theory. More speculation. More conspiracy theory. Islam Fitzgerald Bay. So let's get it, y'all. It says the lodge functioned as a secret society where the initiate explored a branch of Jewish mysticism called Kabbalah. Matthew was also a member of the UNIA under Marcus Messiah Garvey. How do you know that the lodge functioned as a secret society? How do you know that? Was you a part of this lodge? Like, people just be making up all types of stuff. Making it up as you go. We got to stop that. Then you got Dr. Suleiman Muhammad. Dr. Suleiman Muhammad, Dr. Prince D. Solomon Abdul Hamid Suleiman allegedly was an Egyptian, recognizing that at the time Sudan was officially part of Egypt. He was an Arabic speaker, i.e. an Arab or an Arabian. As the 1922 newspaper article describes Suleiman, he worked as a minister, i.e. a promoter of religion, and he had immigrated at some point before his October 1909 appearance, possibly in 1908. Yet there has been founded a 1906 reference to a Black Baptist named Reverend Dr. P. Solomon from 1906. But whether this is the same figure as Prince D. Solomon is unknown. So why even bring it up? More speculation. Well, let me just add some more on it. Give it some more pizzazz, some more Put some more sauce on it. The Baltimore Sun, June 10th, 1906, the name of Solomon's movement was the Canaanite Temple. Timothy Drew, Professor Drew, later known as Prophet Noble Drew Ali, was a co-founder. Where's your proof? There is no proof that Prophet Noble Drew Ali co-founded, founded, or was a part of the Canaanite Temple. That was his office. He literally was healing people from diseases that was claimed to be uncurable. He had a business card with office hours on it. That's just like you having a commercial space in Trump Towers. Do you own Trump Towers? Did you co-found Trump Towers just because you got a commercial space there now? I mean, I really be trying to figure out if people are doing it just to get clout or if they really believe this type of stuff. It says, Timothy Drew, Professor Drew, met him in Egypt and persuaded him to come to America. Show the documentation where Timothy Drew shipped out from America to Egypt. There's no shipping records. We got the shipping records when he went from here to Cuba to be at the Pan American Conference, where you see him in the picture with his hat on and his flags. The same flags that he took with him while he was out on the sea. Going from Virginia to Cuba. I mean, we got to stop this stuff. This stuff is crazy at the end of the day. And people spend hours making content off of lies. It says, he met him in Egypt and persuaded him to come to America. In one front page article, this man of African descent was depicted wearing a fez, and it was reported that he had been proclaiming his movement to be both Islamic and Masonic, a Mohammedan masonry, and spoke of his mystical and Egyptian connections. According to Martin Bernal, Masons saw their religion as Egyptian, their sign as hieroglyphs, their lodges as Egyptian temples, and themselves as an Egyptian priesthood. Othello's Children in the New World by Jose V. Pimenta Bay. Dr. Suleiman communicated to the Shriner Group's head, Caesar R. Blake Jr., his demand for the African American Shriner community, known as the Ancient Egyptian Arabic Order Nobles of the Mystic Shrine, to come under the protection of what he called the Mecca Medina Temple of ancient free and operative Masons from 1 to 96 degrees, the quote-unquote true shrine. Y'all, this is some craziness. You know why it's crazy? It's crazy because there was no, y'all, let me just show the article. Let me go to the article, because this is what this man was saying. All right. This is what this man was saying. This was 1927. Said Egyptian ex-high priest. Now, this is the Egyptian ex-high priest. This is him. This is Suleiman. Hey. This is him. Said the Egyptian ex-high priest declares there are no true Shriners among either colored or white Americans. So then how is it that Rabbi Wentworth who else was it? Saeed. How is it that any of them was a part of a Masonic lodge that they received charters from to infiltrate us here in America? The man is saying he came from Egypt. He is saying that there are no Shriners. Y'all know how long? It has to be at least 40 years plus where Moors and those who aren't proclaimed to be Moors have been teaching that Suleiman was teaching Prophet Noble Drew Ali that this is where Prophet Noble Drew Ali got his quote unquote adapt lessons. You see what I just read? It said that Prophet Noble Drew Ali and him met in Egypt. But there's no shit manifest records of a Timothy Drew or a Dr. Drew or Prophet Noble Drew Ali went to Egypt to meet anyone. It says Egyptian ex-high priest declares, this is a declaration, right? Like how today they celebrate in July the 4th based off the Declaration of Independence. This is a declaration that this man is making. He said, there are no true Shriners among either colored or white Americans. Asserts as a necessity the oath coming from Mecca or Alpo, Arabia, an adoption of Muslimism, swear by beard of prophet. There is no legitimate or real noble of the mystic shrine, black or white, affiliated with American Masonry, declared by Dr. Abdul Hamid Suleiman, ex-high priest from the city of Khartoum and Egypt, now and for some time past residing in New York City. His present address is 2139 7th Avenue. Explaining this declaration, Dr. Suleiman said that the true Shriner's oath must come from Mecca or Alpo, Arabia. That adoption of Muslimism, the Mohammedan faith, is a necessary precedent to be followed by taking of the oath on the Quran. Now, for those who actually read and adhere to the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, you know that we don't take oaths. There's no need to take an oath. It says, with the swearing by the beard of the prophet of the morrow of Mecca. Another distinguishing essential is that the Occidental Masonry only covers from the 1st to the 33rd degrees, while the Oriental, the only true rites, carries its disciples to the 96th degree, claims English parentage. American Masonry, he said, derives it being from, listen now, this is very important, says derives it being from the English Grand Lodge, claiming that the original Prince Hall constituted in Boston was set up under a dispensation and charter from the English body. But the origin is in doubt. What? So hold on. Prince Hall ain't got no charter from England? Shut up. Y'all know how many people been teaching that the Prince Hall got a charter from England? It says, but the origin is in doubt, averaged Dr. Suleiman, since the closest search of the Masonic history fails to show a record of this action. Tradition. This means, generation after generation after generation, traditionally, brings down a story that in Boston sometime about 1783 to 1890, there was set up the African Lodge, with the membership confined solely to military subjects. No civilians were admitted to membership. But later it is believed that this military organization was responsible for the creation of the Masonic body now known as the Prince Hall Grand Lodge. As evidence of this contention with regard to the status of the Mason, this is, listen, this is heavy. Listen. In regard to the status of the Masons in the United States, Dr. Suleiman has a letter from the Grand Secretary of the Grand Lodge of England, replying to a letter of inquiry sent him by Dr. Suleiman and others interested as to the relationship existing between the colored Masonic fraternity in this country and the English parent body. England disowns child. The letter signed by G. Colliver Smith, Grand Secretary, reads as follows: United Grand Lodge of England, Freemasons Hall, Queen Street, London. This was August 3rd, 1927. It says, in reply to your letter of May 7th, the United Grand Lodge of England has at no time recognized either a colored lodge or a colored Grand Lodge in the United States. The only American Grand Lodges and subordinate lodges which are recognized by this Grand Lodge are the Grand Lodges of the 49 independent jurisdictions into which the United States is divided. You must have been misinformed as to the alleged Louisiana Grand Lodge, because the United Grand Lodge of England has never held any Congress in Switzerland or associated itself with any international Masonic gathering held in that country. This reply may be communicated to the 3 signatories with yourself to the letter of July 12th asking for information as to the position taken up by the United Grand Lodge of England in regard to color masonry in the United States of America. Yours faithfully signed, G. Culver Smith, Grand Secretary. There was never a lodge that was connected to England under the Prince Hall. So whoever been teaching this been teaching you wrong. Stop listening to people. Learn how to read yourself. Stop participating in these groupthink activities. I ain't even a part of no lodge. Never been a part of a lodge. They never had a charter from England. But people been teaching this for years. Still teaching it. Oh, we got them now. We got them now. Man, these people started up these lodges over here. They created their own organizations over here. For whatever aim and purpose they created it for. It is not connected to England. Stop it. Peace, peace. Sheikh Jamal Bey.
I just came on to be your hype man. Because you dropping bombs right now. You need somebody to back you up, you know?
Man, well, you know they've been teaching this for years.
Yeah, they have, though, especially about that Dr. Suleiman.
Man,
the old Canaanite temple.
Oh, man.
Well, you enlighten them right now on it. Because a lot of Moors don't know nothing about the old Canaanite temple, though.
Mm-hmm.
So we need more bodies like you to teach us.
Islam.
Everything I learned was from a woman.
That's right.
But come on, I ain't mean to cut you short. Come on.
No. You ain't cut me out. You ain't cut me short at all. Mo, look, I got so many windows. I'm just getting started. I got time today.
Yeah, you ain't been on in a while, too.
Man, nah, I ain't been on in a minute. I got time today. Believe that. I told my husband this morning, I said, I'm going to go lie today. I got time today.
He in and out.
Islam. Yeah, more. I mean, we got to really clear this stuff up because this is the stuff that everybody is teaching.
It is, though.
It's for years. You know, people that's in lodges under Prince Hall don't even know that Prince Hall ain't never received no charter from England.
And I read that online. I read that he did receive a charter online. So I was like,
they
dang.
say it all the time. They say it all the time.
He had to go over there and get approval from the Europeans for something that our forefathers created.
Man,
that's ludicrous.
It's crazy. It's like nonsense and crazy at the same time. People believe this. Well, you know, these the small hats, y'all. You gotta watch out for them. You know, these the FBI agents and CIA, and I mean, next they'll be saying it's the cartel. Like,
but you know, Moors use that information. I'm gonna just say, like, dirty Moors use that information to get ones to join their temple, though. It sound real good.
Mm-hmm.
And then when later on down the line, they're like, man, I thought that was the truth, and the whole time it's falsehood.
You know, they claim that these are the adolescents, and you don't let anybody,
That's what they say too.
Know.
That's what they say. These the adolescents.
Man, these are adolescents. This is what they teaching them. It's crazy.
Dang, you done got down on Serapis Bay, Blavatsky, the Esophageal Society. You dropping them today.
You know how many brothers I done heard, man, look at that pale skin European. No, good and well, Blavatsky Bay got cut on her, man. Stop it.
What you say, bring the receipts. You say, bring the receipts.
You know that woman is admixture. Stop playing, y'all. We like to play a lot of games. Woo! The disrespect is gonna stop today.
That's right.
Man, we ain't allowing no disrespect no more because they've been playing around with the name of the temple, playing around with the name of the prophet, playing around with my name. Put some respect on my name. You know, I ain't even one of those to be, boasting and all that.
No, you don't boast. You just come with your facts.
Man, you know I'm coming with the receipts. Talking about, y'all take an oath. Man, Holy Quran of the Moorish Science America tell us that we ain't supposed to be taking oaths. That's right. So how we taking an oath? Man, y'all weird with that. So here we go. It's another one. Y'all.
Come on, drop it.
This the one they say this is Prophet Noble Drew Ali, y'all. Woo! Mubarak Ali. You know, they say that this is Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
I ain't never see this one.
Oh yeah, this is the Ahmadi Muslim missionary in England, now opening a mission in Germany under the directions of our blessed, resolute leader. This one is the Muslim Sunrise, the Ahmadiyya movement.
Oh.
The Ahmadiyya movement. Oh man. This the Pan Indians. We done went from Pan Islamists, now we getting into the Pan Indians.
No, you getting down. No disrespect though, because it's truth though. No disrespect.
Man, no disrespect. It's definitely true. And this is it right here. It says, Dear Master Mubarak Ali, Assalamu alaikum. It says the Al-Mihad, the foundation stone for the mosque has been laid. I said I had a general idea of its occurrence, but I interpreted according to what you wrote. Let me blow this up some. Make this bigger because it's a small print right here. Alhamdulillah, the foundation stone of the mosque has been laid. I had a general idea of its occurrence, but I interpreted according to what you wrote. That the timings were not given in the initial telegram and were mentioned in the second. It says, when I heard that the Egyptian national delegation opposed this development, when they came to know of it, I was astonished. What do they know about us? I hope that you will have refuted their opposition. At present, I do not have enough time, but next week I shall write an article about it and dispatch it from here, in which the notion that we are the agents of the British shall be properly refuted. It says, I was surprised to hear the objection regarding Califto Masqui. The word Misha, Messiah, is not as commonly used amongst the Christians as is Yasu, Jesus. Mashiach is a status rather than a name. This word is used both in Arabic and Hebrew, and its meaning is mamsu, i.e., whom God has blessed and placed his hands upon. Thus, the relation does it have with the Christians. Further is the word Khalifa not enough to demonstrate that the word refers to the forthcoming Messiah, who would be a Muslim. If we accept this objection that these people raise, we should also remain prepared in future when they object as to why Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad is called Mashi Imad. What connection does this have to Christianity? Right? So he's writing to his brother, right? And this is Mubawi Mubarak Sahid. This is him. Now, tell me, where do he look like Prophet Noble Drew Ali?
Nothing like him.
Man, come on, y'all. These people gotta stop this. Because they got a black and white picture. Oh, well, you know, that's Prophet Noble Drew Ali right there. That's Prophet Noble Drew Ali. This man went to Germany and was living in Germany. When did Prophet Noble Drew Ali have time to go to Germany and live in Germany? Where is the ship manifest records of him leaving here and going to Germany? Just like, where's the ship record, manifest records of him leaving here going to Egypt? This is the type of insanity that we've been dealing with. This is what they have been giving us year after year after year. And we accept it. This is crazy. I mean, absolutely insane. So here's some more information about him. Let's get some more information about him. This is another photo of him. No, because I might be wrong. But that's not Prophet Noble Drew Ali. That's not him. Sorry, but not sorry. It says, who is Mawali Mubarak Ali? The first Ahmadi missionary to Germany. He left from here to go to be a missionary in Germany.
So he's from America and went to Germany.
He came over here, but he wasn't from here. He was from Bengali.
With us
He
in the
was,
Middle East.
yeah, yeah. He joined the Ahmadiyya movement in 1909. He seems to have been working as a headmaster in British India, Bangladesh, and it was proposed that he get sent from West Africa as a missionary for the Ahmadiyya movement to go to Germany and set up. This is the same man that they claim to be Prophet Noble Drew Ali, based off of the Muslim sunrise. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Here we go. Now, this is the Muslim sunrise, Ahmadiyya movement pamphlets. Most of us are, familiar with this, so because when you first learning about, being a Moor and what a Moor is, you'll run up on this because it's on the internet. They always gonna put the stuff they want you to see on the internet. Y'all know it's documents where I did videos this year or late last year where that information you can't even find on the internet anymore because they scrubbed it off the internet. They don't want you to see certain stuff on the internet. Let's see. This is the one they say it's a prophet. The same one we just saw in the picture. The headquarters, India, are busy raising funds for the building of a mosque in Berlin, Germany. $12,000 is the estimate cost of the building, the site for which has already been secured in a very respectable quarter. I've seen videos where people have been reading this. I'm gonna rephrase that. Where they have showed this picture and they have not read this, and people are in the chat like, yeah, that's Noble Drew Ali right there. Look at him. And the words right here telling you who it is, showing you who it is. This man is from India, Bangladesh. Who went to build a school in Germany. Said $12,000 is the estimated cost of the building, the site for which has already been secured in a very respectable quarter. This fund, as desired by the blessed leader, is to be wholly subscribed by the ladies of the movement at home and abroad, and already the sum of $8,000 has been promised and donated in the form of cash and jewelry. The Ahmadiyya ladies deserve our greatest thanks for this spirit of self-sacrifice and devotion. Another sum of $12,000 is being raised to reclaim the Muslim Rajputs of India who are in danger of being enslaved into other camps owing to their complete ignorance of their Muslim faith. Again, this man is, y'all gotta stop this, because this is crazy. This is what they've been teaching. for a very long time. Here's another article. After Negro Shriners, High Priest of Mecca would put him in the right light. He's close to the great prophet. This is about Suleiman again. Abdul Hamid offers real thing in Mohammedan masonry. Master of Quran gets mixed in myth when asked to answer pointed questions. New York World, Friday. He wrote to the world saying, I, Abdul Hamid Suleiman of the city of Khartoum, Sudan, Egypt, and Mohammedan by birth, master of the Quran, having pilgrimage to Mecca 3 times, and thus become an eminent high priest and head of all Masonic degrees in Mecca, Arabia, from the 1st to the 96th degree, am now in the United States for the purpose of establishing the right of the ancient Arabic order of the nobles of the mystic shrine. I, Abdul Hamid Suleiman, make this proclamation that there has never been a Negro Shriner in the United States that was not bogus and infringing upon the white man's is not bogus and infringing upon the white man's rights until now, that I have given a Shriner's patent to Caesar R. Blake of North Carolina. I am here to answer all questions relative to these degrees until I return home to Mecca to enroll the names of the true Shriners of this country.
So he's saying ain't no Shriners in America at all. That's what he's saying. I don't know nothing about the Shriners. I'm just saying. So that's what he's saying.
Man, but you got to. And look, he's saying, look, ain't no Shriners, ain't been no Shriners. This is, what year is this? This was 1922.
He's the only Shriner.
There are no. I had to come here to create Shriners. So anybody that was saying that they were Shriners back in the 1800s until he came in 1922. Till he came, there was no Shriners.
That's a bad man.
There's no records of an official Prince Hall charter that was given to Prince Hall from England. So that means that Prince Hall ain't getting no charter. Prince Hall made up his own charter. That means that there's no Shriners. Until the 1900s. I mean, is anybody that was saying they were saying in any of our ancestors that was saying it was in the lodge prior to him coming and set up? Because we didn't mix. We didn't mix at all. So we wasn't in their lodges, they wasn't in ours. So we read where the Lodge of England said we only got 49. And none of them are so-called African. Meaning none of them has a so-called Negro in it. A part of it. because we don't mix. And you got Suleiman coming saying, it wasn't no Shriners either. You know what I mean? These people didn't, oh man, we got the Moors, the Shriners. There was Shriners back in the 1800s during the Civil War.
Hey. No, they wasn't, according to his word.
Yeah. Man, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Said must take oath and pay. He will do this only if the Negroes swear the death penalty oath by the beard of the prophet, that they will live according to the moral code of the Quran, and that they will pay to Mecca through none but Suleiman a proportion of their lodge dues, which is now being negotiated. A Mohammedan charter is already in possession of Caesar R. Blake of Charlotte, North Carolina. Imperial Patenate of a Society of Negroes, which has been going by the name of AEA, Order of Mystic Shriners. It will become effective, Suleiman says, as soon as negotiations are concluded to his satisfaction, and his priestly seal is affixed to it. Suleiman exhibited his correspondence with Imperial Pontiff Blake, and it showed without doubt that negotiations are underway. Other doubts enter, however, with a great sweep, when Suleiman's answers during 4 hours of questioning concerning his Mohammedan masonry, his credentials, the Quran, and the institutions of Arabia are compared with one another and checked up with the encyclopedia and the experience of American missionaries and American consuls who have spent years in Arabia and other Mohammedan countries. So even the brothers down in Charlotte, North Carolina, was like, nah, you're gonna have to answer these questions before you get anything before y'all get any of this bread from us. Says, first of all, Suleiman exhibited his Mohammedan fez to the reporter. It is the one he was wearing when photographed. That is the fez I wore for 15 years as a high priest in Mecca, says Suleiman. A 15-year fez is crazy. Yo, I know that fez was fried, dyed, and laid to the side. Bro, a 15-year fez? Come on, y'all. Brothers know they ain't got no fezzes that they wearing outside that's 15 years old. Says, but why is the word Mecca embroidered in English letters? The reporter asks. If it was made to be worn in Arabia at Mecca, where no unbeliever is allowed, instead of you hear the reporter? The reporter even the reporter is giving him that word. The reporter said, hold on, fam. Hold on. Why you got Mecca in English letters? When you supposed to be wearing this for 15 years in Arabia and Mecca with English letters, where no unbeliever is allowed, instead of being embroidered in Arabic letters as in the Quran, which you just showed me. Suleiman gulped a few times. Mecca is an Arabic word, he said, and hurried away from the subject. Later, the Fez was identified positively from the photograph by the well-known white Shriner, John A. Morrison, as a regular. See, the so-called white man was the well-known Shriner. Says John A. Morrison as a regular Fez of the New York Mecca shrine of the legitimate white Shriners. He probably went downtown and bought it, said Mr. Morrison. He exhibited his patent as high priest. That is from Mecca, he said, signed by Hassan Hussein, Grand Sharif of Mecca. It was a nice sheet of white paper about 2 feet by 3, with a field of blue sky down the center of which ran a white. Yo, this sounds like a lot of charters. So-called grand sheets we making. Said a blue sky down the center of which ran a whole white column of sprawling characters. It sounds like this paperwork they be pushing. Characters bearing a ragged resemblance of the Arabic lettering and the Quran. The border was decorated with 3 camels on one side. Oh, don't stop playing. 3 pyramids on the other and various symbolic stones. Oh my goodness. Oh, man. I done seen this a lot on folks' paperwork. I done seen it a lot on folks' paperwork. It said 3 camels and then 3 pyramids on the other. And various symbolic stones, incense pots, beehives, square compasses at the top. What's the English lettering? Mecca, Arabia, and below it, AF and OM. His answers mixed. Suleiman explaining that AF and OM stand for ancient free and operative masonry. Again, he was asked why there was English lettering on a purely Arabic document. Because I was to come to America, says Suleiman, after some thought. Later, he forgot that answer and explained in answer to the same question that only the Arabic in the center of the patent was written in Mecca. He said the title and the scenery, as he called borders, were put on in America. He did not explain how the black ink of Mecca happened to be exactly the same quality as the black ink of New York. This, he admitted, was his only credential and the evidence of his authority as high priest to make Mohammedan Masons of the Negroes of America. And discussing the Quran, he said it was written in 410 BC. Later, he said Christ was a Shriner. He is mentioned in the Quran. Then the reporter asked how Christ got into the Quran if it had been written in the year 410 BC. Suleiman gulped again and thought hard. The Quran was rewritten about the time of Christ, he said. Man, look, listen. I'm saying though. And the references were put in them. However, according to all authorities, Muhammad was not born until about 570 AD and did not write the Quran until his maturity. Man, this is killing me. Let me go back. I want to read it. Oh my goodness, cuz man, I'm telling you, this paperwork, y'all, how many of y'all got some of this paperwork? Let's see, it said Oh, it says it was a nice sheet of white paper, about 2 feet by 3, with a field of blue sky down the center of which ran a wide column of sprawling characters, bearing a ragged resemblance of the Arabic letter in the Quran. The borders were decorated with 3 camels on one side, 3 pyramids on the other, and various symbolic stones. Incense pots, beehives, square encompasses. At the top was the English lettering, Mecca, Arabia, and below it, AFNOM. Y'all know this is paperwork. We have all those symbols on it. Oh my goodness, these charters they've been making up, man. They be making it look. This is a 1922 fan was making up these charters. That's crazy work. Daggone. Suleiman was getting in. Get it, Suleiman. Woo! All right, let's get another one. Mohammedans will try to convert Negroes. Dang, Dr. Suleiman was putting in work back then. Says Suleiman, a native of Arabia, said to have been the high priest of Mecca for several years, has inaugurated a movement for spreading Mohammedanism among the Negroes of the United States. Muslim groups have been started. One of them at Newark, where a temple has been established. The Mohammedans in New York hope to construct a mosque here. Dr. Suleiman, who lives at 143 West 130th Street, says he is bringing into closer religious harmony the Negro, Turkish, and Syrian Muslim. Man, he was getting that work in. Shout out to Dr. Suleiman. He was definitely getting it in. Let's see. I got another one. Let me see if I got another one. No, that was the end of Dr. Suleiman. But man, look, we gotta stop playing. We gotta stop playing, y'all, because we've been doing this for way too long. Way too long. All right, so I got another picture. I got another picture. Let me pull it up. What's that? Princess and the Prophet. Prophet and the Princess, whatever it is. Princess and the Prophet. Jack Dorman. He's another character. All right. So here is a picture where people claim that this is Prophet Noble Drew Ali is sitting right next to the boule. This is the boule now. This is the boule. So you got Oscar the priest, and then you also have Anderson. Now, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the Moors, there's a Time magazine. I got to go back and get it. I posted it some time ago. There's a Time magazine report that says that the Moors, the Moorish Americans got Oscar the Priest into office and called him their representative. Now, Oscar the Priest, he went on to sit on with the Bureau of Indian Affairs, because that's where they have our records in the Bureau of Indian Affairs, the Department of Interior, and he went there to go. The Moors, instead of doing the work that they were supposed to be doing while he was there, he served 2 terms. Instead of the Moors doing what they were supposed to be doing to participate in national government all through the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, pretty much up until about the 80s, Moors was really getting it in on each other. Especially when you got into the prison industrial complex system. There used to be huge, major fights and murders amongst Moors and the infighting. So during those time periods, it was really dangerous being a Moorish American. During the time of Prophet Noble Drew Ali and many, many years after you said that you were a Moorish American, you were not only opposed by the pale-skinned Europeans, but you were highly opposed amongst those who looked just like you. You were ostracized. It has not been an easy feat for Moors. Like, there were actual wars that went on between Moors and those who were a part of different sects of temples, and a lot of people lost lives behind this. A lot of people. So let's go to I'm gonna play some I'm gonna play 2 videos. I'm gonna play 2 videos so that I gotta speed it up. So I don't get no copyright strike. So let's check this out.
I think what's more important with the limited time that we have is that we talk about the primary sources. Here, this is Ivo Sotanki and doing what's called a Salom dance, which was a kind of Orientalist dance. And then I talk about, let me get to the, well, this is all really interesting stuff. It's hard for me to not talk about it, but with the 7 minutes I have left, this is a picture, for example, of... No, your time, we just go through. We don't want you to be limited on time. Okay. Okay, all right. So then what I talk about on this page, can you all hear me? Yes, we can. Yes. Okay. All right, building a mech and bucking the machine. Now, this is an aspect of this book that, even Moors who I've spoken with who don't believe at all the Brister part of this. They have appreciated what I've been able to show about the Chicago political machine, which I'm very honored by. This is a famous photo, of course, of the first annual convention. But one of the things that I was able to piece together is that, as I think is well known, the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali wielded considerable political power. But what I was able to piece together is that in 1928, Chicago's political machine was coming apart. And it was coming apart for a number of reasons, but most especially because it was incredibly corrupt. And by corrupt, I mean, not only is there bribes, kickbacks, graft, public officials enriching themselves, getting, payments from prostitution, gambling, drugs, Al Capone, all of that. But it was also corrupt because, they were using violence, including murder, to intimidate voters. They were using violence and bombing, including, and we're talking about dozens and dozens of bombings going on in the 1920s to intimidate political rivals. So what you need to know is that here's these dangerous characters. One is there's this criminal mastermind. On my screen is not displaying correctly, but his name is Jack Guzik. So everybody knows the name Al Capone, but Jack Guzik was actually the brains behind the Capone syndicate. He was orchestrating payoffs between, police, gamblers, bootleggers, politicians, etc., and really orchestrating Capone. And now the reason why that's so significant is because the Guzik Capone cartel, for lack of a better word, would directly paying this man, Mayor Big Bill Thompson. So they contribute hundreds of thousands of dollars to get him reelected in 1926, 27. And they also gave 1,000 thugs to intimidate voters. That, by the way, the big episode of voter intimidation, one of the biggest one, was April 1928. So immediately before the Prophet met with the politicians at the convention. Now, this character, Mayor Big Bill Thompson, called his coalition America First. And he was a creature of the streets. He was, in a lot of ways, there's a lot of similarities between him and our current president. I mean, number one, America First, but this kind of blustery xenophobia, hatred against immigrants. Big Bill was doing that. And he also was oftentimes like nonsensical, but amusing. So he accepted hundreds of thousands of dollars from Capone, and he allowed Capone's associates to freely roam City Hall after his reelection. He also, though, was very popular with black voters because he came from the South Side and he courted black voters, and he was not overtly a racist, unlike virtually everybody else in Chicago politics. And so he actually gave some city positions to members of the African-American community, including Aaron Payne L., who became a city attorney, who's the one who's in the lower right-hand corner of the picture of the Prophet with Oscar DePriest and Louis B. Anderson that I showed earlier. Here's Oscar DePriest, Oscar Stanton DePriest. He became the first congressman the first black congressman elected from the North in 1928. But the thing about DePriest is that DePriest was indicted twice. He was never convicted. He was indicted twice. And he essentially, in 1916, he had a famous lawyer, Clarence Darrow, who got him off by admitting essentially that, yeah, he was taking money from gamblers and he was taking kickbacks, but he didn't think they were kickbacks. He thought that they were just political donations. So he got off in 1916. And then in 1928, because of the violence in April of 28, when the Thompson machine was literally bombing their opponents' homes and polling places, and when he had a group of Capone's gangsters who machine gunned down the black challenger to one of the Thompson machine politicians in broad daylight on election day, that's what led to this investigation of the machine that indicted both DePriest and his kind of rival named Dan Jackson. Dan Jackson, some of you might know the name because Dan Jackson managed Unity Hall. It was Dan Jackson who had hired Claude Green. Okay? So Jackson and DePriest, Jackson was the king of gamblers on the South Side. DePriest was kind of the chief person who was collecting kickbacks to get protection from the police. And they were working together, but also rivals. Okay, so the reason why that is so significant, though, this indictment of Congressman-elect DePriest, is that he's elected in the fall of 28 at the very moment, right, when he's posing with the Prophet at the first annual convention. So the Prophet is very close, or is literally in between DePriest and Louis B. Anderson. I'll show this picture again. This is DePriest. This is Louis B. Anderson. They're both aldermen. This is Aaron Payne L., brother of Clarence Payne L., who becomes the physician who oversees the Prophet's treatment. So he's in the middle of these very elite Chicago political figures at the very moment when the Thompson machine is crumbling. And it's crumbling because of the violence and because of these indictments. And from what I've heard from some Moors, these politicians and elite figures were also trying to either take over the movement or try to get a bigger share of the profits. And that's how some people at least explain the schism and the beef with Claude Green. And that part about the schism is hearsay, but to me, I think it makes sense. I'd be interested in what other people think about that. Then one of the really powerful figures behind the scenes is Emperor Samuel Insull. No one's heard of him that I've ever met. But Insull was the single most powerful businessman in the 1920s in the United States. He controlled Commonwealth Edison, the L trains, the interurban railroads, and the power grids for hundreds of Chicago suburbs. He was president of 11 companies, chairman of 65, and director of another 85. He also was the chief corrupter of politicians in America. So in 1926, he backed this candidate for Senate from Illinois named Frank Smith. And Frank Smith had been in charge of regulating Samuel Insull's industries, these public utilities. And so the Senate refused to seat Frank Smith because they feared that he was not, as one senator put it, not the senator from Illinois, but the senator from Insull. So there was this immediate precedent that said, if you had a politician who's known to be corrupt, that politician might not be seated in Congress. Then 28 happens, and Oscar de Priest is elected, but he's under indictment. This is why I believe that the internal disputes within the Moorish Science Temple in 28 and 29 were so dangerous to the reigning political machine. And the reason being that they threatened the legitimacy of Oscar de Priest, right? That he might not be able to take that seat in Congress if he was tied into the corruption scheme of Samuel Insull, which was run through Unity Hall. It was Samuel Insull had purchased Unity Hall for Oscar de Priest. Dan Jackson was managing Unity Hall for Samuel Insull. So it was Insull who was behind the scenes at Unity Hall. So when Oscar de Priest was killed, my bad, when Claude Green was killed within Unity Hall, it must have set off all these alarm bells within Insull's machine and within the city machine, because it was at this critical moment in between the election of Oscar de Priest in the fall of 20 and his seating, that seating of Oscar de Priest in the winter. All right, and here's more detail about Insull and behind the scenes. I thought this was just incredible. It says, a wonderful program to him. It's a cartoon. This is the front page of the Chicago Defender. And you see, it says, right next to it, most noble Drew Lee is laid to rest. So the very day that they're announcing the burial of the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Lee, the Chicago Defender runs a front page editorial cartoon. And what does it say? It says, do as I tell you, and these dollars are yours. But what is that? It's coming out of an electrical device. Okay, Samuel Insull owned Commonwealth Edison, but he also owned showrooms of electrical devices that went into his buildings and other people's buildings. Like Jesse Binga had something called a Binga Arcade. Right, Jesse Binga in October 28, Jesse Binga pledged loyalty to the Holy Prophet. Then later on, he opens up the arcade in the spring of 29. And the anchor tenant, the biggest tenant in this arcade is Insull's, this one in this picture. So what this is clearly saying is that Insull is bribing our politicians, do as I tell you, and these dollars are yours. This is clearly, to those in the know in the 1920s, this would be unmistakably talking about the improper influence of Insull. Okay. Now, I haven't actually gotten to primary sources. Should we take questions about what I've said so far, or should we dive into the primaries?
Yeah, we're going to open up with questions. I also just want to make a statement. I thank you thus far for what you have presented, and just to the fact that there are.
So this is the author of The Princess and the Prophet, along with shout out to MSTA 1928. Who set up this platform for him to explain his book that he wrote about our movement. He wrote about Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Now, he's explaining this and he's breaking down. He's even gone as far as to show that the day after Prophet Noble Drew Ali transition, that the newspaper said, just listen to me and you'll have the money. He also showed the picture, which was at our first annual convention in 1928, with Louis B. Anderson on one side and Oscar de Priest on the other. And he was alluding to the politicians was trying to take the money, get the money from the prophet. What money? Because I've heard stories that the prophet was a pimp and the prophet was, pimping the people, pimping the members, and taking the money from people and so on and so forth. Well, what money would the prophet have? And how would he have all of this money if he's just the low life pimping, street. You said street corner prophet, preacher. These are the things that they have said many times over. Many times over. This is the sentiment that those who don't know, that just say things because it's something that they heard. These are the things that they've said about Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Islam, brother Tyrese Hill. So we're gonna get some more into this, and then after we go through this, we're gonna get into a few more pictures with Marcus Garvey, that they claim to be Prophet Noble Drew Ali, as well as getting more into Insol and Binga, because Binga Binga State Bank was the bank where we had an account. We had an account at Binga State Bank. Islam. So let's get it, y'all.
Are some of us that are a little bit at a disadvantage because the book has just recently been introduced to the general public, and many of our viewing audience within the Moorish American community had not as of yet had the opportunity to actually view the book, but thus many of them with the information that they was able to gather from some of the information that she provided on the various websites, was able to kind of put together an idea and conception as to what they find to be somewhat, I guess, to the fact that maybe questionable. And some of them, and many of them, just what we call have taken up the bandwagon fallacy, pretty much following suit based on somebody else disagreeing and so forth. But before I'm going to start with our, if the truth be told, commentators to open up the question. But I want to ask, based on what you have presented, what part of your research was, what would you attribute to being empirical as opposed to theoretical?
Well, the way I answered that is by saying I am guided somewhat by theory initially, because theory tells you where to look and what to look for. So, for example, most of the books that had been written about not just the Moorish movement, but about Islam among African Americans more generally, they always talked about enslaved Muslims, and then it was then we don't know, or then we have Malungians, or we have these small little groups in the late 19th century, and then we have Noble Drew Ali, right? The Prophet Noble Drew Ali, who then is the bridge to 20th century Islam. So my theory that I developed in my first book with Chosen People was a theory I call polyculturalism, which says, people are made up of a host of legacies. And this also goes to the question of why do I study Noble Drew Ali? I feel well, number one, Noble Drew Ali was an American prophet. Number two, he transformed America. Number three, I am an American. Number four, logically, he has transformed me. I've been impacted by all kinds of Muslim voices, thoughts, technologies, personalities, critical thinking, whether that's through hip hop or comedy with Dave Chappelle, whether that's through every time I use a number, I'm using an Arabic number. So I don't see myself as operating within a silo in which I am only interested in people who have the same skin color as me. That's just not how I view my consciousness or who I am. I feel like we all are put together through all these different pieces. So anyway, the theory, people have been looking at, trying to connect up enslaved African Muslims with 1920s Muslims. And when my approach was to say, well, yeah, we know that there were thousands of enslaved African Muslims, but we also know that there were millions of Americans who went to the circus and saw Muslims. We know that there were millions of Americans who participated in Shriner rituals. And when you look at the Shriner rituals, they're talking all about Islam and the life of the Prophet Muhammad. So my approach was to say, based on this polycultural perspective, why don't I look at popular culture, not just at genealogy? Okay, because in my own case, I couldn't tell you, my ancestors came to this country in the 1890s. I don't speak the same language they do. I barely practice any version of their religion. Things change over time. I've been more influenced, honestly, by Muslim voices in hip hop than I have been by ancestral songs. To the degree that I even know them. So hopefully that helps to answer your question. We can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I got you. I was muted. Just yes. I thank you for that. I definitely have another question, but I don't want to monopolize the time. And I want to give our commentators, if the truth be told, opportunity to speak and present their questions, etc. And I just want to also, before that, to let those that are watching, this is part one. We want to definitely invite, because this is truly deserving of a more extended amount of information to be disseminated, and to also to engage in further dialogue and conversation, and also to bring more truthfulness in terms of what everyone has made assumptions based off of not really having the book, but giving people opportunity to get the book, and possibly we do this again in 3 weeks.
I want to say this, that this is part one. Part two, hopefully, where the Moors would get together, those that are actual scholars, those that are actual historians, that we should get together and go over the book, go over what he said. And then after we vet these things, to come back, and he said he's willing to come on the second show and discuss what we discovered or what we like or dislike, and let him respond to it in an intelligent tone. Yeah. Now, this way, it'll be a panel of scholars, more scholars, real more scholars and historians that we can do that. But anyway, I don't want to say no more. Yeah. I'm gonna let them all.
Okay, so now I'm gonna play the second part. After everybody pretty much got to read. This was right when the book came out, so a lot of people didn't have a copy of the book. So a lot of people didn't know really what was in the book, how to refute the book, how to agree with the book, so on and so forth. So I'm gonna play the next video where he came a second time, and just listen to what was said when he came the second time.
In discussion, we want to again welcome Dr. Jacob Dorman, the author of Princess and a Prophet, onto our show. And in regards of, and actually the book has definitely had, since our last conversation we did via our podcast, it allowed Moorish Americans across the country to actually, get a chance to review the book. Because to have an intelligent conversation, at least you should be somewhat knowledgeable of the subject matter at hand. Yes. And so we asked those that was interested in the dialogue and the conversation, at least get familiar with the book itself before, making any critical opinions about the author, etc. This way you have something to draw from. We've all read the book, and well, not all. I mean, there's other people that I guess haven't all read the book, but to a greater degree, we have spoken within our own inner circles about the book and how it reflects the divinity of our prophet,
what doesn't,
and or the lack of, and also a lot of historical elements that are definitely in contrast to what we know that actually took place based on the internal records of the Moorish Temple of America, and even certain things that are that was availed to the public. Okay, Islam.
Let me add this to that. Of all the Moors, I myself have sat with the prophet's wife Pearl. I met her December the 5th at the Young Muslim League in 1978. She died in 1994. So I had a good relationship with her. I had a good relationship with Sister Christina Price Bay, who was in the house with the prophet, who was a girlfriend of Sister Mary Ali, the second wife, who I got a chance to talk to often through Sister Christina Price Bay. Then we had a brother, St. G. Cook Bay, who was the first man the prophet ever put a black fez on his head. Also, he was the man the prophet sent out to Baltimore, Maryland, to establish temple number 13. And later on, he was sending his brother, I Cook Bay, out there in Baltimore, Maryland, and he was established temple 19. As well as I talked to Mr. I think it was James Reynolds, Jay Reynolds. Jay Reynolds Hill, who was also at the time I came to the temple, was the head of 3810 South Wabash, the reincarnated portion of the temple. I also had a great relationship with Sister Eve Ali Hill, who was the reincarnated prophet's wife. And she died in 2006. We had a good relationship with her to a point I could take other Moors to visit her. Same thing I did with Sister Pearl. Also, I talked to Sister Ligon Hill and them, some more Moors. It was all part of the original temple number 1. Also, I talked to Sister D. Meatley Hill in 78 and early 79 at the temple when I did a 2-hour interview with her where I asked her tough questions and stuff. So my record is as a scholar that I spent all these hours and years actually studying my prophet, actually asking questions about my prophet. I asked Sister Pearl Ali so many questions about my prophet. What he liked to eat, what he did. what was his family like? Woo, 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 woo. And so, of all people, I am, without a doubt and contradiction, a Moorish historian on the life, works, and divine teachings of our holy prophet, Drew Ali. This is known not only in my temple, but throughout the country, because I sat and talked with these people for years, not a day, not 6 months, not a year, but for years I stood under them and asked them all types of questions. That's how I know about the Black Feds. That's how I know about a lot of things that the prophet brought and taught. Because I, as a Moorish American, being raised and born in Chicago, took out time to go visit all these other Moors. For example, Brother Barnes there, who started in 1938, he joined the temple and he started up the Moorish Divine National Movement on 42nd and Calumet. I also had the privilege to sit down and study with some of the brothers from the Ben Ishmael tribe off of 47th Street. I also had the privilege of sitting with Shanae Hill in them at 957 East 75th Street. So there's a lot of more people I can't even remember that I talked with. Booker T. Bay, Brother T. Booker Bay. If you look at the oil statement, he has a lot of oil statements up in there that from him talking with the prophet. And not only that, we had private conversations. I have private intel about certain things, certain people in the Moorish Science of America that was there with the prophet. So I have a record of recording what the prophet said and did. Plus the fact, when I joined up with Temple Number 1, Grand Temple Number 1, at that time under Brother P. Davis Hill, I had access to what they called the hot box. The hot box had tons of letters in it, actual documents. They had the letter handwritten, they had the letter typed. And they had so much stuff in that box, those two boxes, that they left the imprint on some of the boxes, the imprints of one letter's on the bottom letter. So I have a record. Plus I have tons of original documents and stuff from that era time of my prophet. Now, so when I began to read anything in regards to the life, works, and teachings, divine teachings of my holy prophet, I have a good sense of his worth, his honor, and what he said and did. So when I first heard about the book, I was blessed by Mr. Dorman. He sent me a copy. Then I ordered a bunch of copies for my members, so that the heads, before I sit down and discuss anything with them about the validity of the book, I made sure that they read it first. So I wasn't putting no biased thoughts and ideas in them. I even sent y'all the book too, didn't I, Curry? Islam.
If your mic is muted, I don't
Your
know.
mic is muted, Brother Curry.
Islam, yes, sir, Chief.
Oh, okay.
Did I send you a copy of the book?
Yes, sir, most definitely. Hard copy.
The hard copy.
Yes, sir.
Everybody got a hard copy of me. Mine's a soft copy.
That's all right, Chief.
So that was the advanced copy. There are very few of those. That's much rarer.
Yes, sir.
That's more of an honor.
I'm highly honored. And so I dove in the book sincerely, honestly, with an open mind and a willing heart to find out, how much in it was truthful, how much in it I disagreed with it, because, I'm still discovering stuff about it. I'm still a student of my prophet. Just like I'm still a student of Shanae Hill, G. Cookbait, I'm still a student. Even after they passed, I'm still discovering stuff that they said. One of the things I discovered in his book was the fact that Marcus Garvey, after meeting the prophet, according to the Chicago Defender, saying the man is doing great works. So this is an opportunity to ask Dr. Dorman. My first question would be this, Dr. Dorman. Why did you write the book about the prophet? Last time we asked you about that, you didn't give us a concise answer. What mindset were you in to want to pick out our prophet? Of all the people that call themselves prophets, of the Asiatic side of the family, African American, whatever you want to call it, that you picked out my prophet to write this book about, and then put a woman first. So that's become my first question.
Yeah, well, thank you. First of all, Sheikh Ras Adiel and Grand Governess Sadiel for having me back on your show. Islam. And Assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam, and shalom aleichem. It's all the same. It's all the same language. So, I mean, there's different ways of explaining why I wrote the book. One way is just to talk about the previous book that led me to this book. I mean, that's one way of talking about it. And I think that's what I said last time, which maybe you're saying wasn't concise enough. But my framework, my mental state was to say that I thought that the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, had made an incredible contribution to America. And that without him, we might not have the Nation of Islam. We might not have many of the Sunni groups that the Moors went into. America's religious landscape might look completely different. And I'm somebody who grew up influenced by American culture, American music, including music and culture and ideas and thoughts and humor that were created by people of the Islamic faith who are Asiatic or Moorish. And so I felt like the other thing is that when I think about religion, I don't judge a religion by what it says in its books. And I don't judge religion by its dogma, its teachings. I judge a religion to the extent that I even judge, because really no man should judge. I don't think that's our place to judge. I think that's the place of a higher power. But, I think about, how do people live their lives, and how do they receive you? If do you walk into a church, a mosque, or synagogue, and people welcome you as a brother, and a human and a child of God, or do they ignore you? And I've been in all kinds of religious communities and seen all kinds of things. And so I genuinely feel admiration for Islam. And I genuinely feel like Islam has been a positive force on America. And Islam among people known as African American has been a positive force. So that was my mindset going in, that the Holy Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, made this contribution that has yet to be widely acknowledged. And I wrote the first book, which was about Black Israelites. And in the course of that, I noticed that in the 1920s, there was this tremendous overlap between Israelites and Muslims. And, you had rabbis who were observing Ramadan, for example, and that the divide between these isms was really an artificial construct that oftentimes European scholars had put onto, or European American scholars had, and to my mind, misidentified a lot of these practitioners by saying, well, this is Judaism, this is Rastafarianism, this is Islamism or Islam, and not really looking at how people inside these movements were worshiping, practicing, and understanding themselves. So that's one aspect. Another aspect is Orientalism, and this has been misunderstood. I mean, I get little feedback. I would frankly like more feedback from what I have said and how it's been interpreted. But this country was at war in Iraq and Afghanistan when I was writing this book, and the reasons we went to war, to me, seem frankly, I don't want to say ridiculous, because that would make it seem like that wasn't that's almost too trivializing. Because I understood the reasons why we went to war, but I didn't think they were valid. And I think that if Iraq was occupied by Christians entirely instead of just this Christian minority, I don't think we ever would have bombed Iraq. If some terrorist from Switzerland had bombed New York, we wouldn't have turned around and bombed another Christian country. And so there's this way in which the West has misunderstood Islam and the Orient, and that's called Orientalism. So I was thinking a lot about that. But what also interests me is the way that Orientalism is complex and complicated and can be used as a form of anti-racism, not just as a form of racism. And what I saw among Asiatic Americans was the use of Orientalism or of ideas about the Orient and about Islam to fight against racism. And so what I saw again and again in many different ways was exactly that to identify as a Muslim in the 1920s was a political act, and it was an act of anti-racism. And I saw that in my preliminary research in newspapers. You see that in the Rif War in Morocco that was being fought at that time, that got covered in the Negro World by Marcus Garvey. So that's my initial answers. What I wanted to understand was, how has America thought about Islam, misrepresented Islam, and then also how have Asiatic Americans used Islam as a form of anti-racism. And so my initial, investigation was on people like Reverend Edward Wilmot Blyden, and published a piece about Blyden. I looked into Duzay Muhammad Ali, and I have a work in progress about that. So I was looking at this period, and then I started to investigate this, the circus. I can say more about that later, sir.
Okay, Islam. It's kind of interesting, and I just we want to give our others. I guess you can see it. Anyone else? We got Brother Corey. Islam.
Who's that Lindy?
Islam. I'm just listening right now, Queen Mother.
Okay,
Islam. So who's this other Lindy? ALL3ND3E.
It's Curry. Islam.
Islam. It is I, Brother Curry Lindy. Islam.
Oh, you trying to separate your name because yours is ALL3ND3, huh?
That's right. It's still spelled the same thing, Chief.
Islam. Mr. German. Before I ask my question, Sheikh Ali. You're muted.
You're muted. Is he still? What are you doing?
Yeah, he's in a bad area too. He's deep in the country.
Yeah,
so.
a little.
Islam.
Again, Doctor, thank you so much for honoring us with your presence. I want to go back to our first interview, and there was a comment that you made, and it was basically your surprise in the sense of the response we're getting from a lot of the Moors, because some of your colleagues had written reviews stating that you seem to be lavishing praise of.
Okay.
So they felt more biased than you intended it for it to be, and you were rather surprised.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that, please?
Can you hear me a little better?
Yeah, it just cut out in the middle.
I'm sorry, I'm in a remote area here. Maybe I should call in on the phone, Chief.
Okay, yeah, try doing that. Islam. Yeah, try calling in. That'll probably be best.
Okay, I'll give it
From what I heard, sir, the question was about my surprise about the reaction. And is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I'd like to apologize to any more who was offended by my book. And I sincerely did not mean to offend Moors with the book. And the Grand Governors had pointed out, wouldn't this have been a better book if you had spoken to elders? And I agree, it would have. And Sheikh, that goes for you as well. Like, yeah, this, I did manage. I think I did speak to you on the phone once, and I was talking about. I asked you if I could come out and speak with you, and you said yes, very kindly. And then I wasn't able to, really for personal reasons. And I thought, well, there's never one book that tells a whole story, especially a story that is as complex and rich as this book. And this is, it's an archival book. It doesn't claim to be the be all and end all. I was able to use, books of hadiths that have been collected about the sayings of the Prophet. And of course, I was able to collect the written testimony, some of it, certainly the Circle 7 Quran and the collection that's available in the Schomburg. But I wasn't able to sit with Moors for this variety of sort of geographic and personal reasons. I wasn't able to take that travel. So that's unfortunate. It would be a far better book, I agree, if it had the oral history and the remembrances from the Moorish community. And so I do sincerely, feel bad that the book has offended Moors. And that's not what I intended, and that's not what I expected. And to go back to the question of expectations. So I was in touch with Patrick Bowen, another researcher, and he put me in touch with a group, Elise Men. And they told me that they were a group of historians from a variety of viewpoints and different sects. Yes.
Who did you say he put you in touch with? Who?
Elise Men.
Okay.
Elise Men. Yes, sir. So,
I know about
and I'm not trying to get them in trouble or misrepresent them, because they didn't say that they approved of this book or its conclusions, but they gave it an airing. I talked about it with them, and they received it, and I thought, okay, that now one of the things, the other thing to explain is that I started working on this book during the Iraq War a long time ago, but I didn't put together the Brister life story until the last few years, and a lot of it happened, like the final pieces happened just less than a year from the date of publication. I had one final research trip to Chicago that was 1 week long, and I used all but 15 minutes of that time in archives. And again, that's just because of my family responsibilities. I couldn't stay longer. I couldn't make trips. I didn't have contacts in Chicago with Moors. So I'm not trying to say that this wouldn't have been improved by speaking with more Moors. I'm just saying, because of the chronology, like some of the pieces of this, like the fact that Eva Brister got remarried in whatever that was, 1919, I think. Like, I didn't even find that out until the book was in Page Proofs, which was August of 2019. And the book came out it was printed in January, and it came out in March. So anyway, it came together rather late. And my whole thinking about it was not that this is the be all and end all, because I don't think it is, but rather that this is an archival book.
Okay, let me ask you this question. You brought up Brewster. Once again, you said 1919. Let me ask you, where was Noble Ali at in 1919? What was he doing? Because I'm trying to say how you correlated Brewster. What's going on in Newark, New Jersey, compared to what was Brewster at getting married at?
Okay, well, Brister, so the Newark, New Jersey piece, the only new thing that I contributed to that story has been well covered by people like Bowen and many others. And that's the Professor Drew period. Now, the only thing that I added that was new was that I was able to document that Thomas Drew was living with Samuel Dixion, the barber, or I'm sorry, I think it's Dixon. In the oral history had spelled his name Dixion, and I believe I found it in the census as Dixon. I'd have to check it out, but I was able to show that they were both living at 181 Warren Street. Okay, so that's the only thing new that I added to this.
This is where we get the conflict at. Where was Brewster? You say he got married in 1919. Now, the fact that Noble Drew Ali, our prophet, was in Newark, New Jersey, and that he was there, and that he had problems there, which I never even read in your book. Well, the problem that the prophet had was that he was telling people not to go in the armed forces of the war 1918. And this is one of the reasons why the community stood up against him in some aspects, because he said that for Asia Acts not to go fight the European war. But now at the same time, you say he was getting married. I'm asking you again, where was Brewster getting married at in 1919?
Sir. if I might interject, I'm not talking about Walter Brister getting married. I'm talking about his ex-wife, Eva Brister, got remarried in 1919.
So where was he at in 1919?
Well, so here's what the book says. What I was able to establish in the book is that Walter Brister was born in Carlisle, Kentucky, and then he was the first Asiatic star on Broadway. And this is a piece of the story I'm surprised that more people haven't hooked onto, because if you believe, right, that the Holy Prophet had incredible abilities, then being the first star on Broadway would help to reify that idea and give more evidence of that idea. Well, then he marries Eva Brister.
But the prophet said he was born in North Carolina, January 8th, 1886. Now, who should I believe? Because his wife, Sister Pearl, said the same thing when I talked to her back in those days. Because I was trying to find out who was the family of the prophet, who was his relationship, and if ever she had an opportunity to meet, let me see that here, to meet his people. Now, but you're saying that he's born in someplace else other than what he's saying.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't say that. What I said was I found a census with Walter Brister as a 1-year-old in Carlisle, Kentucky. Now, he could have been born in North Carolina. He appears on the census, or not he, but Walter Brister appears on the census in Kentucky as a 1-year-old in Carlisle, Kentucky.
What year?
Is this the 1880 census? I believe this is the 1880 census. Sorry, let me check.
Born in 1880.
No, 1879.
1886.
Right.
What we know, what we stand for and know here in the more scientific America.
Yeah.
That he was born. He said he was born in 1886. His wife said he was born that year. His lawyer said he was born that year. And they all say he's born in North Carolina. So I was just wondering, once again, how these two
are reconcilable.
Yeah, how they reconcile.
I don't.
The example. Now that sister, the sister who says she's the prophet's niece, sister, here you go, the false empress, the Washita woman. She said the prophet was born in Drew County, Louisiana. Now you're saying Kentucky or North Carolina, and now I know that the sister who's supposed to be his kin, a lot of more start following behind because she said she was the kin and all this here. And one of the things she said that his mother and father, his father was born in 1859, and the wife had him in 1885. And I'm like, if the father died in 1859 and she had him in 1885, somebody math is off. So now I'm trying to figure out this Brewster character. This is the thing we have an issue with, that this Brewster character was supposed to be a top flight. We don't get the musician years, but who was his mother and father? And where was he born, and how that connects with the prophet? Because a lot of things seem to be ambiguous when it comes to exact time and date. For it's just like the picture shows the prophet in 1928, the very first convention, standing in front of 3140 South End Avenue, and you saying the woman sitting next to him, that's married to the man standing next to them, by the name of Lomax Bay, that's Mimi Lomax Bay, that's his wife, that's the prophet's wife, when he was Leslie Brewster. No, he can't be his ex-wife because they didn't get a divorce. I've been married 4 times. And in America, if you don't get a divorce, you still married. That's American law. I'm not talking about Japanese law. I'm not talking about nobody else. Really, I'm talking about in America. Until you divorce that person, you still married. And whatever money you got, that person come and claim it. That's when, what's that guy that's singing? The brother had all the wives come and claim his money when he died. The dope fiend.
No. Baby Anthony.
No,
Anthony?
the brother.
I can't remember.
His name. Anyway, he had 5 wives. He divorced them. Larry, what's his name?
Frankie Lyman.
Frankie Lyman. And the only wife that could get money was the last wife he married that he wasn't divorced from. So the laws in America is crystal clear. As long as you don't get a divorce, you still married. So now, that's just showing you one of the instances people are talking about. But the claim that he's Brewster, this is what we're trying to get at. Where's the evidence? For example, you said Malcolm X. Malcolm X said he was Detroit Red. Sister Maya Angelou said she used to be a hoe and sold drugs. I used to be a gangbanger, an ETC, and sold drugs, was a dope fiend. I'm not discounting that. But now, when you say that the prophet, Noble Drew Ali, is this guy, but he never refers to that guy any time in history, and nobody in the temple knew about that guy. But we did know that the prophet did work in a circus. We know that the prophet did do those things.
Yo! Yo! Rosario. Yo! Sheikh Rasai, hold on, let me rewind that back. Sheikh Rasai, funny as I don't know what.
Get money with the last wife he married that he went divorced from. So the laws in America is crystal clear. As long as you don't get divorced, you still married. So now that's just showing one of the instances people are talking about. But the claim that he's Brewster, this is what we're trying to get at. Where's the evidence? For example, you said Malcolm X. Malcolm X said he was Detroit Red. Sister Maya Angelou said she used to be a hoe and sold drugs. I used to be a gangbanger, an ETC, and sold drugs, was a dope fiend. I'm not discounting that. But now, when you say that the prophet,
somebody come get this. I saw him said Malcolm X said he was Detroit Red. Maya Angelou said he used to be a hoe and sold drugs. He said, I used to be a gangbanger in a dope fiend. Somebody come get Rasai. Oh my goodness, let's get back to the video, y'all. Oh,
Noble Ali is this guy, but he never refers to that guy any time in history. And nobody in the temple knew about that guy, but we did know that the prophet did work in the circus. We know that because he was in Chicago one time. Probably they would have a picture everywhere. His picture would be in so many archives, but you only got one picture of him. Now, me, myself, I'm allowed to go with you with that picture. I still ain't finished doing everything I need to do with that picture, for the identification. But it seems to me that could be a young prophet Noble Drew Ali in a circus outfit, working in the circus. So therefore, I can't argue with that point. But when you say that's Brewster, that's the point we're in contention with. You have to be able to prove irrefutably that Brewster and Prophet Noble Drew Ali is the same man, and they're at the same place at the same time.
Well, sir, so I was able to find more than one picture of Walter Brister. In fact, I was able to find a statue of Walter Brister, which is on my website, which princessandprophet.com.org.
Wait, you got it up there now?
Yeah, I got it up there now. Should I share it? I can share it on my screen.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Share it on your screen.
I'll share it on my screen. Okay, hang on.
And then that would make the prophet the biggest flim-flam man in the world, because he fooled the governors, mayors, he fooled people in other countries, such as Canada. When he was invited to Canada by the Prime Minister of Canada, he fooled the Mexicans.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to figure out.
I mean, there's a couple of things. I mean, one thing is there's nothing disreputable about being in the circus. And that's one thing people have to understand is like the circus was like the combination of Hollywood and the NBA wrapped into one.
I agree with you. I'm not against that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong. Like people have responded, some Moors have responded online as, like I'm saying something defamatory by saying he was in a circus or that he was a magician.
Let me say this now. Let me say this now so you can hear it out of my mouth. The prophet said he was in the circus. So I'm not ever going to doubt that he was in the circus. Because the prophet Noble Drew Ali left a record that he was in the circus. This is without a fact. The reincarnated prophet talked about it. Meatley talked about it. German on Kirkman Bay talked about it. My grandfather, all of them agreed that. But now, if he's this Brewster character, is the issue.
Okay.
Now,
right.
I'm trying to look at the pictures. Show me the pictures.
Here, I'll share my screen.
Yeah,
tell me if this works. Okay, can you see a green screen here?
I see the picture of that guy. Yes, sir.
Princess and the Prophet.
He might be.
Okay, so if you scroll up, so this is Walter Brister as Arma Sotenki, and it's identified. I'll show you where that's identified. And the arrow is pointing to a mole on.
Well, I got pictures. He ain't got no moles, so let's go on.
That's true. You can always take the mole out.
Now we want to see the stats.
So now I'll show you the evidence. If you go up to evidence, the first page is called Gallery. It says Islam. For centuries, Americans idealized and romanticized, so forth. And then, of course, the famous photo. So I start first by showing off some of these.
I got all of them in your book. I just don't have the picture of the statue.
Okay.
Show me the picture of the statue that's supposed to be the prophet.
Okay. All right.
I got all that in your book.
Okay. So this is relevant because this is Walter Brister as a young man on Broadway. Now, this is the first show that showed Asiatic people on Broadway. This is a historic show. It's so historic and so little known that it's not even in most of the histories of African-American theater leave this group out altogether, because the show wasn't about...
Statue, please.
Okay,
I'm
the statue.
For the statue.
Okay, you don't want to see the prophet there? He's holding a cornet. Walter Brister. Okay. All right. I'll get you to the statue then.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait a minute, go back.
Okay, here we go. Okay, this shows you. So this is in Pawnee Bill's Wild West show. Yeah. And first is the drawing from 1899 showing Arma Sotanki. In 1900 is Arma Sotanki.
How old is that guy in that picture? That drawing? That guy don't look young in that picture.
No, but it's a drawing. Then you look at what he actually looked like.
Yeah, but you said in the circus he was young. That guy got a mustache.
It's a fake mustache, sir.
Okay, that's what you're saying. I have to see the man. Go ahead.
Okay, so then on to the right of him, the Sotankis, Hindu fakirs, Walter Brister. You see that, sir?
That's what you're saying. I'm trying to see where the prophet. Show me the statue.
Okay, I'll show you the statue. And then the next year you see his wife Eva Brister, and it says.
But you saying that sister Mimi?
Yeah, I'll show you that.
Lomax Bay. That's not the same person.
I'll show you that.
All right.
It's on the next page. I had to do multiple pages because I didn't want them to take too long to load.
That ain't the picture of the prophet, I hope.
No. This is his wife doing her snake dance, and that's what she was famous for.
That's not Mimi.
Okay.
No, don't you have a picture? Stop the picture. Go back down. Go let me down. You see this picture right here? That sister is Mimi. That's his wife. That's the man standing next to the prophet, to the left of the prophet. That's Lomax Bay wife. We got her picture on charters and we got her picture on the first convention stuff. Now you saying that these two men is screwing the same woman?
No, I'm not, sir.
Yes, it did.
No, sir. No, don't put words in my mouth, sir. I never said that. All right, I'll get you to. Okay, you don't want me to talk about any of this. So.
Oh, sorry. He said that the same man. He said these two men screwing the same woman. Oh man, y'all go ahead and like, share, subscribe. Make sure when you subscribe, you hit the notification bell so that you always get the notification when I go live. Shouts out to everyone that's been watching. Shouts out to everybody that's been supporting. The ticker is going across the screen. If you want to get donations, the donation information is there. We've been going at this for a few hours now, almost 4 hours. So let's get it, y'all. Like I said, I got time today.
So I'll just
because they know that count.
Evidence. Okay, so primary sources. So I have this page called Primary Sources. This says the life of Walter Brister, and this shows you the census records where you see him as a 1-year-old, etc. This shows you him in a band, and here is the statue. Okay, this is Walter Brister.
Like my prophet. That look like a statue.
It is a statue, sir.
Yeah, but don't look like my prophet.
No, this is a bad likeness of a 14-year-old boy.
So if it's a bad likeness in court, there's room for doubt.
Absolutely, but this is a statue, sir. We also have photographs.
Go ahead. There you go. Let me ask you.
Yeah. Let me go back to the statue because he did not want to show that statue. He showed everything about that, but the statue. Let's go back to the statue. Man, y'all gonna stop playing. Y'all put anything on her. On her. Man, y'all put anything on us, boy. Y'all gonna stop. Listen to this.
So I have this page called Primary Sources. This says the life of Walter Brister, and this shows you the census record.
Hold on, let me slow this down. I want to actually slow it down. I want to speed it up. I want to slow it down.
Records where you see him as a 1-year-old, etc. It shows you him
in a band, and here is the statue, okay? This is Walter Brister.
My prophet, that look like a statue.
It is a statue, sir.
Yeah, but it don't look like my prophet.
No, this is a bad likeness of a 14-year-old boy.
So if it's a bad likeness in court, there's room for doubt.
Absolutely, but this is
Oh man, yo, Hasadia is funny. It's a bad likeness. There's room for doubt in court. He did not want to show this statue. This man though didn't want to say this ain't even Bristol. He gotta stop playing. He just said that ain't my prophet, that's a statue. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's right. She Jamal, he said, that's Mimi. Oh man.
Hey, he didn't want to show that statue. he say that ain't my prophet. He say that's Mimi right there. He say, so you saying they sleeping together? No.
Yeah, man. I've been wanting to do this in this video for a long time.
It's even funnier when it goes slow. One more time.
I'm gonna run it back. Yeah. Oh man, y'all gotta be more careful out here in these YouTube streets. This is crazy.
So I have this page called Primary Sources. It says the life of Walter Brister, and this shows you the census records where you see him as a 1-year-old, etc. It shows you him in a band, and here is the statue, okay? This is Walter Brister.
My prophet, that look like a statue.
It is a statue, sir.
Yeah, but it don't look like my prophet.
No, this is a bad likeness of a 14-year-old boy.
So if it's a bad likeness in court, there's room for doubt.
Absolutely, but this is a statue, sir. We also have photographs.
There you go. Let me ask you this here.
Yeah.
Did you actually go look up at that time about Prophet Noble Jew Ali? His
That don't look like my prophet. That's the statue.
Yeah, that slow motion is different. Yo.
Dang, I had to mute the mic on that leg.
Oh my goodness. This is crazy. It's like this man is really trying to sell us.
You know how many more going off that book, The Prophet and the Princess, though? And they really teaching that stuff for real, though.
I know,
and that's what's like it was said about it.
He's saying, man, that's the prophet right. He killed for Rasadio.
He was ready.
Rasadio was see he thought Rasadio was old and slow and he was man, that's crazy work right there. That don't look like my prophet. Man, it's something else. But like you said, Moors are actually teaching that really the prophet. Like they love that book.
That's them adult lessons they say.
That's the adult lessons. Yeah. Man.
It's early years. Because all through that he says he's Timothy, he says he's Thomas, but he never say he's Brewster. I'm trying to figure out how they got in there.
Right. But the point about this is he never says I'm not Brewster. He never says
I never told nobody I'm not Al Capone. They should know. I'm not Al Capone. I should have to tell nobody that.
I'm just saying I'm not, someone says, well, if he was Brewster, then he was lying. And I'm saying, no, he never said he wasn't Brewster.
Like, he never said he was.
Exactly. But with him in a band. And here is the statue, okay? This is Walter Brewster.
Like my prophet. That look like a statue.
It is a statue, sir.
Yeah, but it don't look like my prophet.
No, this is a bad likeness of a 14-year-old boy.
Okay, so if it's a bad likeness in court, there's room for doubt.
Absolutely, but this is a statue, sir. We also have photographs.
There you go. Let me ask you this here.
Yeah.
Did you actually go look up at that time about Prophet Noble Jew Ali? His early years. Because all through that he says he's Timothy. He says he's Thomas. But he never say he Brewster. I'm trying to figure how they got in there.
Right. But, the point about this is he never says, I'm not Brewster. He never says,
I never told nobody I'm not Al Capone. They should know. I'm not Al Capone. I should have to tell nobody that.
I'm just saying I'm not, someone says, well, if he was Brewster, then he was lying. And I'm saying, no.
Yeah.
But this is a statue, sir. We also have photographs.
There you go. Let me ask you this here.
Yeah.
Did you actually go look up at that time about Prophet Noble Jew Ali? His early years. because all through that he says he's Timothy, he says he's Thomas, but he never say he Brewster. I'm trying to figure how that got in there.
Right. But, the point about this is he never says, I'm not Brister. He never says,
I never told nobody I'm not Al Capone. They should know.
He say Al Capone. He snapped. He said he never said he was Brewster.
I never said I was Al Capone. They should know. Man, you can fool a lot. You can fool a lot of Moors. That Moor right there on Sunny Hill.
You can't fool him.
He said, man, that's Mimi.
You say, so you trying to say that he's the same girl?
Oh my goodness. Man, but Sadio was not going. He was not going for none of that. So you fool them other ones, but you ain't fooling me. That's how it is, watching this in real time, because this is happening today, so we don't have to really go back to, we don't got to go back to the 1800s and the early 1900s. We right here and we seeing how the pale-skinned European has put out literature, has made these claims about Prophet Noble Drew Ali and his life, and now Moors adopt the story and they go with it, and then generations to come pick it up and believe it, even though there's no true sources that actually back a lot of what Jacob was saying. But for some reason, like you said, Morris be like, man, them the ADAT degrees. That's the prophet. Man, that statue took me out. That statue is funny.
Hey, he ain't even want to show it, though.
He did not want to show that statue.
Hey, he say, there's the statue. He say, that ain't my prophet. That's the statue.
Yo, that statue is crazy work. Man, they gonna stop playing. Y'all keep letting them do this.
I'm not out. I shouldn't have to tell nobody that.
I'm just saying, I'm not, someone says, well, if he was Brister, then he was lying. And I'm saying, no, he never said he wasn't Brister.
He never said he was.
Exactly.
That's the point.
But so it's not, I'm not saying that he was lying.
Me, all right, go ahead.
Okay, so anyway, if you look at these...
Go back to the picture. Now go back to the picture. Okay. Go back to the picture right there. Now, he's sitting in a picture with another man that's married to his wife that he never divorced, and they stand in front of a building. He done lied and said he dead. She's alive and she know he's lying because he ain't dead. And standing with another guy, and they don't even look like the woman. Don't even look like that woman, Mimi.
Oh well, let's go down to Mimi then. Here we go.
Blow her picture up.
Okay, this is George Barrett and the Fifth Jubilee Singers. It was George Barrett who wrote to Princess Otenki and said, say hi to Drew for me. So I know that there was somebody associated with Princess Otenki using the name
there's a lot of Drews. I know some Drews now.
All right.
Go ahead.
Okay, so here we have Eva Brister on the left, and on the right we have Mimi Lomax Bey, or the woman identified as Mimi Lomax Bey in the 1928.
They don't even look alike.
They don't? Okay.
No, look
at
the
put
nose.
them together.
Wait. Look at the nose.
And people of Asiatic descent, it is a known fact that
we don't lose our lips.
We don't lose our lips. That's genetically, and I actually researched that. That's basically, we don't lose the contour or the collagen in our lips and our nose. I got pictures of my mother when she was young, still full lips. We don't lose that. Our people, we don't lose. It's like that old saying they used to say, black don't crack. Yeah. We don't lose the content of our face and our features like that. Our melanin is strong, and it will. She looks more like my doctor, Dr. Ross. Yeah, but no, they're not the same. And that's pretty much. But the fact is, on a lithograph, it tells who she is.
Her name is Mimi
Lomax Bey, and she's married to the other
Lomax Bey,
the gentleman that's standing to her left. So that's internal, and that's a known fact. So we can basically dispute that as she being married to the prophet, because that's not the person.
I'm gonna say this woman Mimi was not married to the prophet. I'm gonna say this woman Mimi, we know for a fact, was married to James Lomax Bey, and when he left the temple, she left the temple with him, and he died, I think, in New Jersey, and she died after him. But now this woman here, I'm not gonna say she didn't marry the prophet.
Well, okay, here's the thing. If you look at the two images and put them over on top of each other, like I've done, you see that the geometry of the face is exactly the same. So yes, I grant you, one is a young woman and one is an older woman.
No, listen, unless she Michael Jackson.
Wait a minute, Chief. Islam. There's a lot of incarcerated people across America based off of this perception that.
Yeah, this mom said, "G. Michael Jackson."
That was very disrespectful.
Oh my goodness! Sadiel, don't stop. He don't stop. Man. This boy up there, shout out to Sadiel, because he one of the ones, he don't always, his methods be out there, but daggone, he was standing on business. He was standing on business. On this one right here. Daggone. He said, look, I don't know what y'all got going on, but this is not it. Y'all making up a lot of stuff. And none of this stuff is real. Shout out to Sheikh Sadiel.
People of color look the same. And the words that you use, such as the geometrics of her face, it reminds me of several.
One is a young woman and one is an older woman.
No, listen, unless she Michael Jackson.
Wait a minute, Chief. Islam. There's a lot of incarcerated people across America based off of this perception that people of color look the same. And the words that you use, such as the geometrics of her face, it reminds me of several documentaries that I've heard about those who have been falsely accused, and the only way they've been proven innocent is by DNA. Now, you have to understand, and you have to bear witness to this as being true, because all across America, there is so-called quote-unquote artists and facial recognitions that have been putting a lot of innocent people behind bars. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I don't think that you may be enlightened on is the very fact that it would be almost impossible for Sister Mimi Lomax Bey to outlive her husband James Lomax Bey after. And I'm looking at her records that you had put up in the book. It would have been almost impossible for her to outlive James Lomax Bey and be the age that you place Brista Ali or Brista's wife. So, other than the idea that of whatever software that you use, what other research do you have that actually connects Sister Mimi Lomax Bey, such as children, such as last place of residence, etc.
Right. Well, Brother Annandale, thanks for that perspective. I want to, start out by saying that I don't call this a criminal justice system. I call this a criminal injustice system. It is racist, and I teach that to my students. I just called it that yesterday, and I believe that. And I also I was fortunate to grow up with Asiatic kids, and I'm aware of the racism that people face. And part of that racism is thinking that, also called Black people look alike. And I'm not one of those people. And I was blessed that I had the upbringing with Black peers and teachers from, preschool on up to my, PhD and grad work with peers and professors of Asiatic descent. So I think that's a valid point. And I don't think I'm making such a blunt comparison by just putting these two photos together, because I'm not just saying they look alike. I'm saying the actual facial geometry is the same. Now, I don't have any, and I don't say in the book that this is Mimi Lomax Bey. That's something that that is sort of coming out in these discussions. I mean, this woman is identified as Mimi Lomax Bey, and it's definitely an interesting possibility.
Well, this man capping so hard, their jaw structure line ain't even the same. But again, you got Moors. It's like, oh, Prophet and the Princess. Thank you, Brother Jacob. Thank you so much, Brother Jacob, for writing this book about our prophet. Weird.
Hey, that Brother Jacob real persuasive to somebody who don't know. That's why us Moors got to study and know our history.
Definitely
we can't let the you could say the oppressor teach us our own history.
Come on now. No, you can't, because this is what they do. They've been doing it. You see, I was able to go all the way back to I was able to go all the way back to, the 1900s today, just with the prophet. But, we done bills when we didn't went all the way back, back to the 1400s.
When you say the America was a Americana, huh?
Islam.
not Vespucci, huh? The America Vespucci is Americana, huh?
Man, look, that America Vespucci thing that they've been doing for so many years.
It was America before he came. The Amaru.
The Amaru. You try to get our people to understand, and they're gonna tell you one of their favorite things, you lost your African mind.
That's a Roman general. Got our people going.
Man, this lady, they don't have the same eye structure. They don't have the same jawline structure. They don't have the same lips. And this man just throw a video on his website.
They both black, so they look like.
He said, and here's the picture of Prophet Overdraw Ali with the mole. And Rasadi said, I got pictures without the mole. Keep going.
Man.
Pictures of him without a mole. Keep going.
Yeah, he had him. He couldn't say nothing.
Rasadi like, you ain't said nothing slick to can of oil. Keep going. Woo. Oh my goodness, this
he
right
here.
here.
Even went on the show. He thought he was gonna school more historic.
Man, he thought Rasadia was an old man. He just laid back. Thank you for writing the book for. Rasadia was setting him up for the play. He wanted to make sure that he came back the second time. It's like, yeah. It'll be easy on the first time. So you can make
He
sure that
wasn't even in the video the first. He wasn't even in the first video.
Yeah.
Rasadiel got him though.
Man, this right here is something else. This is historic. This is because we get to see it in real time. But we ain't got to guess about it. We ain't got to think about it, you know. It's right here. We can visually see it and document it.
That she was. I mean, another possibility is that she wasn't, and she was misidentified on whoever made the initial caption in the Moorish Guide or the Chicago Defender, because that's this. She was identified as Mimi Lomax Bay in both those places. But I don't cover this in the book. Now, my identification of her as Eva Brister and her connection to Walter Brister is very well documented, and that's on this page of primary sources. So I've got their marriage certificate. I have records from their professional life in magic together. I've got a letter that her friend from George Barrett from the Fish Jubilee Singers sent to her saying, say hi to Drew. So like the connection between Walter and Eva is rock solid. We know that they were married, and we know that they worked together as the Sotankis. The idea that Eva also became Mimi Lomax Bay, that's not my idea, but I think it's interesting because, for one thing, it would help to explain some of the rivalry with James Lomax Bay in Detroit. And the other thing about Eva Brister, I mean, there's a lot of information about Eva Brister in the book because she lived a life in entertainment, as did Walter, right? So they both left a lot of records. The big entertainment newspaper at that time for Asiatics wasn't really the Defender. It was the Indianapolis Freeman was bigger. And in the Freeman, there's a lot of records of performers saying hello to their friends in different shows. And you can start to map out these networks of influence and friendships. And when you do that, you can help sort of reconstruct who the Bristers knew, who they had dinner parties with, who they entertained.
Professor, I don't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Because we do have a little time. One of the things, one of our members who is a wellness expert, and definitely she wanted just to reiterate, melanin basically maintains the soft tissue within us Asiatics, so they don't deplete. Another thing is that just by you equating that person being the wife or the former wife or the prophet leads to a scandal within the temple, as though here these two people are lying. And in fact, that this lie was so great that it didn't get uncovered until thus your book. Because in fact, the prophet Noble Ali, having to have been recognized and has been accepted, he was at the governor's ball. He has been internationally recognized, and for him to have to be connected as this boosted character, somebody would have come up. The Chicago Tribune would have did a smear campaign about him trying to, here's this guy saying that he's a prophet and he's a former circus person. It would have been a huge outcry of a scandal in this. And in the fact that Sheikh Rasadiel, his grandfather, people that he knew that was there during the time of the prophet, that's in those, he spoke to people that's in that photo. So here we have internal records that can refute all of that. That person was married to the prophet, never. And so it's no misprint, because now you're saying that the people that were there that actually gave are lying on behalf of who this woman was.
No, ma'am. I'm sorry. I never said anybody was lying. Those are your words. I never said that. And it's like saying, am I lying to you right now because I haven't told you yet that I was divorced before and my wife is my second wife? I mean, that's true. I've been divorced. Now, does that make me a liar because I haven't told you that? I don't think that makes me a liar. The fact
that the prophet, he wouldn't have been that shrewd because and I remember you making a comparison before, and as the Sheikh had mentioned that about Malcolm X being Detroit Red or Malcolm Little and Jesus being a carpenter. They never lied or not spoke about their past. Their past basically gave life to showing the possibilities of someone being redeemed from a particular situation, thus Malcolm X. And so when we look at the prophet, we're looking at someone that is of divine purpose. One thing that was omitted out of your book was the fact that he was able to bring a people, the so-called Negro, Black, Colored, African-American. These are names that don't attribute to any type of national descent. He took us and connected us to an identity, that we are entitled to have a nationality. That was omitted. As far as the faith of Islam, and in retrospect to Sunni Islam, we are considered, we're not taken very favorably in Orthodox Islam because we have a prophet, because we dare not claim that Muhammad is the last prophet. And so the fact that that in itself had placed Prophet Noble Drew Ali to be somewhat vilified in terms of those in the faith of Islam, because we don't follow the Orthodox version of Islam, or what has been perceived as is the faith of Islam based on cultural, if anything. And so there's a lot of things that Moorish Americans are really taken back in feeling that this book did not represent the divinity. It marginalized. It placed this person as being basically an imposter, or someone that was flim-flamming the very people that admired him and looked up to him. Him being this person, Brewster, that would have been part of his history. There would have been no need for him to not mention that measure about him. But we understand that through time, there has been cross references of people taking on different identities. There have been cross references of certain things that equated to someone being someone other than themselves. So just in fact that this book is not going to definitely be perceived as a historical account of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, but anything other than just to say, hey, this is someone that had taken on the persona as being a prophet, and somehow his life had became entwined with that life of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. There's a lot of things that need to be corrected in terms of a lot of history that we have internal records that basically the timeline is a lot of blurring in there, because Prophet Noble Drew Ali and Brewster, they couldn't be in two different places at the same time. So there's a lot of accounts that are very questionable in that measure. That's why we said that it would have been to a greater advantage for you to have sat with those who had conversations with people that was there during the time of the prophet, who have actually, in a lot of these internal records that we have, that can basically refute a lot of what has been written in your book. Now, I understand, when you're talking about research and so forth, wouldn't have been more or less to the respect and the integrity of Prophet Noble Drew Ali and those who in the Moorish Scientific America, and you writing this book because of personal situations that you could not commit to traveling and speaking and having that one-on-one conversation and actually spending time with Moorish Americans across the country. Wouldn't have been best to say, hey, let me just put this on the back burner for now until I'm able to write it and basically write it with a clear sense of being objective, because I've taken the time out. It is more like a rush job, and because you didn't take that time out, it was like, let me just throw this in there and just omit this out, and because I'm on a time schedule, it definitely takes away from the book being accredited in that sense for any Moorish American Muslims to accept it as pure fact. That's just what it is. And again, we're talking about a prophet. I mean, it's not just someone that's just claiming to be a prophet. This is when someone asks us, do you see Prophet Noble Drew Ali in the same measure as Jesus and Prophet Muhammad? And yes, very much so, very much so. And so we this is personal. This is deeply rooted in us. To, as the prophet said, defend him to our very life. And so because we are passionate about this, we're not going to basically meet you with just our passion and not our intellect, and having verifiable information to substantiate our claim against the fact that this man, Brewster, is not our prophet, without a doubt or contradiction. It will be remiss for me as a Moorish American Muslim to even accept this, because in accepting this is to say that I dismiss everything that the prophet has taught, because everything that he has taught us, all the lessons that we have gotten goes totally against anything in which would insinuate that he is going to promote himself someone other than this Brewster person, to present himself someone other than who he really was to us. So we're passionate about that, and that's why Moorish Americans. Well, we speaking for those that are here, that is present, and then we have seen Moorish Americans post. Yeah, I was in total, feeling total removed, and that this book does qualify for a revision or a continuation, or in some posts that to basically pay a greater tribute to the divinity of what Prophet Noble Drew Ali did. I mean, he did what he did for Asiatics, identifying as Negro, Black, and colored. I mean, he took us out of a sense of being retrofitted in someone else's identity of who we are and taking our own.
Let me say this here with that. When I read the book, I seen none of that in there. I seen nothing in there about the prophet's prophethood. I seen nothing there how you became a prophet. Who we said with now Brewster. I hear all about he said with gangsters. I don't know what Grease and Goosey can got. I watch Untouchables every week. I don't know what they got to do with my prophet, but all the crime and hearsay and stuff of that era has nothing to do with his prophethood. Now, let's just say, for instance, this guy was Brewster. What changed him Brewster to divinity? What happened? Even Jacob wrestled with an angel. I mean, all this, there's a whole gap here. Jacob wrestled with an angel. That's how he became Israel. Now, Jacob did not play like he was dead to become Israel. So my thing was, when I read the book, I was looking for something to express his prophethood. Now, like I said, I know Moors all across the country that was there with the prophet, such as Reynolds Hill, and they teach that the prophet said he found his stuff in the cave. It says already set up. He just had to follow it through. So my thing becomes, ain't none of this in the book, and this is pertinent to who he is. By him being to sing and dance and blow a horn, he didn't teach us that. By him dying, say he killed himself, he died, and his wife helped him hide the fact that he was dead, so he continued. But But continue, like, even with that, let me just say this. If he played like he was dead, for what reason? Because he didn't say he wasn't a prophet. What reason did he play like he was dead? What reason did she cover up the fact he wasn't dead? Then, where's the medical examiners that said he was dead? He had to have a death certificate. I mean, it's so many ifs in this.
I know, sir. So could I respond to
yes, sir,
with your comments and the Grand Governor's comments? First of all, I think
I can't see.
You know, I know that the book.
Stop sharing your screen. Pardon me. Stop sharing your screen.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay. So the book was obviously extremely upsetting, and I didn't intend that. And I think that in light of that, at least initially, a lot of people thought that I was trying to demean the prophet, which I am not doing and was not doing. But now I'm hearing that I never talked about the prophet's prophecy. And if you look at page 193, it says, "So what did Prophet Drew Ali teach that found such a receptive audience from American?"
That's not what I'm talking about. Pardon me, sir. That's not what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. You said he was in the circus and he did tricks.
Mm-hmm.
He told us he was in the circus and he did some tricks. I know that. But now you're saying this Brewster character played like he was dead.
Sir, yeah, I know you're talking about the 1914 story in the newspaper that was verified by a death certificate, which I was able to find. And I can share with you if you want. That's
let me finish.
Walter Brister died in 1914.
All right, so therefore, if he died in 1914, you saying that's a fake death. Let me just finish. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to figure he faked his death to do what? Because in 1913, Noble Drew Ali was in Newark, New Jersey. Mm-hmm. That's a known fact. So my thing now is, if Bannister, or whatever his guy name, he died in 1914, mm-hmm. he claimed that he died, he's from the circus and stuff, but now in 1913, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, the prophet as Timothy Drew, or Thomas Drew, is in the state of Newark, New Jersey, establishing what, an alibi? He's established.
No,
so my thing is,
it's like how Malcolm Little became Malcolm X.
But wait a minute, but Malcolm X never said he wasn't Malcolm Little. Wait a minute, but Malcolm X told he was Malcolm Little. I'm trying to get you to show me where Brewster, 1914, he said he died. 1913, the prophet Noble Drew Ali is in Newark, New Jersey, teaching. 1916, he formed the Moorish Divine and National Movement. 1919, the temple. 1914, he wasn't saying he was Professor Drew then. 1914, he was not saying that he was the Egyptian adept. In 19, I'm looking for your record because in 1913, Noble Drew Ali is known as the Egyptian adept Professor Drew in 1913. Where is the correlation and relationship with Bannister or Brewster?
Brister.
He's in 1914. He's not the Egyptian adept. He's not Timothy Drew. He's not Thomas Drew. He ain't doing none of that. And he in another city, in another state. And I'm trying to figure out why he played dead when he already doing great works in Newark, New Jersey.
Sir,
there gotta be a reason. Go ahead.
Yeah. So these are really good questions. And on the website, I put up all the documentation I have about the Bristers, including the fact that in 1913, Eva Brister moved to right outside Newark, New Jersey in 1913. And then in 1914,
I didn't hear you. You say who moved?
Eva, Princess Otanki,
right.
Eva Brister.
So wait a minute, but she
moved in 1913, right outside.
She ain't what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about it. The prophet had girlfriend. The prophet, he was a man. He had wives and girlfriends. I know that. I'm talking about you saying, where was this Brewster character in 1913 when Noble Drew Ali stood up in the temple and was the Egyptian adept, the professor? So he was doing all this. Yeah, where was Brewster at?
So I mean, there's a couple possibilities. One is
not possible. No. We
don't. No, there's no document. There's okay. So between 1913 and 1914. We only have three definite facts. One is Eva Brister moves outside of Newark, New Jersey in 1913, and we already know that Eva Brister is associated with Walter Brister, and that a member of the Fifth Jubilee Singers had said to her, "Say hello to Drew." So somebody is already practicing Hindu magic as Drew, associated with Eva Brister.
Here we go. We're gonna say this. Wait a minute. I'm gonna show you a picture. Yeah. Eva Brewster knew a guy in the circus by the name Timothy or Thomas Drew. Our prophet say he was in the circus. That means he wasn't in the circus by himself. That means other people was in the circus with him. So now, this woman you say moved up there outside of New Jersey, and they probably, like I tell people, stop and see my friend Akbar. No, Akbar, to see Akbar. Now, but I'm not talking about it. The prophet is already up there in 1913. The guy you talking about, we asked a question about, where was he at?
Well, I mean, people do travel between Chicago and New York.
I'm asking you, where was he at?
It just takes a train.
Let me say this. I got a friend. He's a numerology man. And I asked him, I say, he actually called himself the prophet of the numbers. His name was Ricky. Now, Ricky, he got so good. I got his document here, whereas he got a job on the psychic hotline. I got his tax form. He said in my temple, and I watched him take that test on psychic hotline, and they hired him on psychic hotline. Now, But Ricky, I said, Ricky, give me the lotto number. Well, it could be possible. It could be possible. That. The numbers, if the numbers do that, it could be. I say what could be and is two different things. Mm-hmm. When you start talking, I'm Rael. If you go ask people about me when I was Gregory Anthony Swanigan, when I became Gregory Anthony Swanigan Neal, those people know me. Ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. But here, it seems that these two people never in the same spot. One is born in one city, one's born in another city. Now, 1913, we know for a fact, Timothy Drew was in Newark, New Jersey. You're right about he was around Dixon's barbershop. There's records of that. His wife knew he was working in the barbershop. Now, these other people knew him as a magician in the circus. I'm not taking away from that. So they knew him because, like you said, they're doing the circus thing. So she up there. Right now, we got a sister in Chicago. I would say, Mo, why you in Chicago? Why don't you go see Sister Mary? That's what they could be saying. Why don't you go see Drew? He up there. He up there. Since they're all in a circus, obviously they had a gathering or a relationship, just like what they call it, the Chitlin Circus, with all the musicians. What's that movie? What's that? Put that movie behind you, Mo.
Sir, if I just want to point out on page 193, I say exactly that the prophet said that Asiatics are not, quote, are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were slaves by slaveholders.
No, I said when he became a prophet. Let me say.
I know. I want to interject because I wasn't able to respond to the grand governess when she said that I admitted.
I got something to do. Go ahead and respond to her.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, first of all, again, it was never my intention to insult Moors or to deny the divinity and the worth of the prophet. And I don't think that my book does that. I do think my book is so unconventional and apparently so upsetting that a lot of people don't give it credit for what it does do as far as talking about the divinity and the prophecy of the prophet. And I know that Orthodox Muslims disrespect Moors, but I'm not an Orthodox Muslim and I don't disrespect Moors. And I don't say that Moors are not Muslims. And I say that Islam says anyone who says they're a Muslim is a Muslim. And in fact, even when there was the court case brought in by the Sudanese imam against the prophet, they never said he wasn't a Muslim. You know, the Egyptian university said he wasn't a prophet, but they didn't say he wasn't a Muslim. And so I'm not saying he wasn't a Muslim, and I'm not saying that he wasn't a prophet. And I do talk about his prophecies in the chapter called Moorish Science, where, for example, I do say that he brought the message to Asiatic people about their true.
Well, that's one of the things is that we you know, Chief Sheikh definitely will. We continuously tell Moors to purchase the book so they can have understanding. But you know, one of the things is we understand that it is not the responsibility of you or anyone else to write our narrative. Mm-hmm. It's our responsibility to tell our story. And often enough, it has been played in history, as you know, as being a historian, that the victor basically has control of the pen. So we have been rewritten and redefined by somebody else and basically put in someone else's narrative as to who we are. And a lot of history has denoted a lot of fallacies and a lot of misinformation about who we are as a people. And again, it's not no one else's responsibility to take credit of who we are other than us. So I think this may be your book will instigate Moorish Americans in large to start writing publications about the true history of our prophet, to write about the divinity of our prophet. Our chief minister has a book out called The Controversial Years. It's a collection of, and he has another one coming out soon dealing with controversy too. This book is noted as being a collection of internal documents that you won't find in the Moorish Guide newspaper or the Chicago Defender. Some of these documents were records that he was able to get his hands on, and there's several original copies that he has. And that also accounts for the fact that he said amongst people that was there during the time of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, who was directly taught by the prophet himself. And so we understand, and I think the Sheikh was just kind of like the timeline of Prophet Noble Drew Ali being in Newark, New Jersey in 1913, and Brewster being this person. You can't be in two different places and you're one person. So there's a lot of gray areas, and there's a thing called when there's a shadow of a doubt, it kind of just brings suspect to the whole picture when there's a shadow of a doubt in this. I think there's a lot of things that definitely needs to be adjusted and corrected, and there is a greater story that can come out of this. But again, Mr. Dorman, with all due respect, it was never your responsibility or anyone else outside of the Moorish Scientific America to talk and basically write our narrative. That's our responsibility, is to show who our prophet is to us, and to definitely preserve the integrity, the history, and the authenticity of who we are as Moorish American Muslims.
Facts. Man, shout out again to Sheikh Rasadiel. He said, I'm Rael. He said, like, I got a friend named Akbar. I say, go see Akbar. Oh man, look, you could pull it over on a lot of Moorish Americans. Sheikh Rasadiel, you're not pulling it over him. I wanna I'm gonna share a couple more pictures and then we're gonna close this. I got a lot more I want to get into. I'm gonna save that. We've been going on for close to 5 hours. And I'm tapping out early, y'all. I got stuff to do tomorrow. All right, so again, shout out to MSTA 1928 for standing on business. Man, that was crazy. That was absolute insane. So here's some more photos. Many claim to be Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and it's not. Right? It's not. So here's one right here. Right? We all know this one. They claim that this man right here next to Marcus Garvey is Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Of course, this is not him. This man right here is not Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So Moors, y'all gotta stop this. This is nonsense. This is the reason why this information is even put out here. And the public is running with it. Because of Moors. All right, I got another one. So here's another one. This is the last one I'm going to share. This one. It's right here. This is not Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Y'all got to stop this. Y'all really got to stop this. Because y'all keep putting this out. Y'all need to go, and everybody who got these pictures saying it's Prophet Noble Drew Ali beside Marcus Garvey, y'all need to update y'all websites and take that slander down. It's time to clean up this garbage. Because Moorish Americans, Moors are the problem. Y'all the ones who put this information out here for the public to run with. So I want to say honors to everybody who came out and supported. Honors to my chat. And y'all kept me going. Honors to my hype man, Sheikh Jamal Bey. Honors to my brother chairman, His Majesty the Magnificent Ill, who's been rocking out all day with me. Let's see who else came through. Honors to Noble Bay 7. The World Class came through. Tyrese Ill. Fitzgerald Bay. Who else did we have early today? Pennington Bay came through. Jose Barnesville came through earlier. My cousin, brother OTK. Travel Alchemist came through. Islam. Let's see who else came through earlier. Dessalines Ganga. Gita Vilified. Vance Kelly. Shout out to all of y'all that came through, participated today. Like I said, I had time today, and we got to really do better. We got to clean up this misinformation. I'm calling out the content creators to start to help clean up the lies that's been taught and regurgitated for so many years about Moorish Science Temple of America, and who Prophet Noble Drew Ali is, and us as a people, who we are. Let's see. You got to connect your device. Make sure that y'all like, share, and subscribe. Once you subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you'll get notifications every time I go live. For information about, membership to the Moorish Science Temple of America, we're at www.mstahohr805.co. For donations, you can hit me up, Cash App, Crystal Glover Ill. This definitely was under fair use, the Fair Use Act, to be able to review and educate, get educated. You got to connect your device. Got to connect your mic. Connect your mic so I can let you in. We'll be here tomorrow, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, for our Sunday school meeting. And then right after Sunday school at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, we'll be at the... why am I thinking today is Saturday? Dang. I'm ahead of myself for real. I'm thinking today is Saturday. Scratch that. We will not be here tomorrow for Sunday school. I'm ready for Sunday school. Look at me. All right, y'all. But we will be here tomorrow night for a Holy Night meeting. We'll definitely be here for tomorrow night for Holy Night meeting at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Again, honors to each and every one of you. We enjoyed you all. We'll see you all next time. Peace and love.